I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Thursday Night Live episode 273. 273 episodes in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Political Spotlight. I am your host with the most hair until I get it cut. I still don't know when that's going to be. I'm trying. My name is Christopher Bilbrey, Kristopher H. Bilbrey to you, and we are here to talk about some political things going on in and around East Central Indiana. Welcome. I am glad that you are here and that you are giving us a little bit of your time. We understand that your time is valuable. Hell, you could be listening to Vice President Kamala Harris right now as she's doing her first worldwide live premiere interview as the candidate running for the Democratic ticket for President of the United States. I very much considered doing one of a couple of things this evening. I considered not going on and allowing everyone to watch the Kamala Harris interview. I then considered going live and live streaming the Kamala Harris interview. I then considered just coming on and not mentioning the Kamala interview and going along with what our regular show is. But then, however, I read the snippet around it. It's not a live interview. It's very much like Joe's interviews. They recorded the interview earlier, and it was only 18 minutes worth of usable content. And I've heard they've even cut those 18 minutes down. So I thought, to hell with that. I'm not going to waste 18 or less minutes of my show listening to giggling and craziness. We'll take a look at it. We're monitoring it for you. We've got people watching the interview. It's currently on right now as we speak. We will watch that, and we will pop on maybe sometime this weekend even, and go through that and let you know if there's anything you need to know. I can go ahead and just tell you, woke. Basically, that's all you needed to know. All right. Without that nightmare fuel, we will focus on what we need to focus on, and that is some local politics throughout Madison County. Of course, Madison County had an election board meeting today, And when we deal with Madison County, I don't like to just, Madison County's a freak show, so I don't like to go over there unaccompanied without some kind of a guide and somebody that's like a leader and helping me manage the waters that is Madison County. And so for the last year or so, my guide throughout the wilderness of Madison County political theater has been Dr. Katherine Callahan. She, of course, is going to be joining us in just a few moments, and that will be fun. I've got a present, and the other day I said it's a present for her. It's not really a present for her. It's more a present for the audience. So we'll get to that here in just a few moments. But we are appreciative that you are with us. If you're watching via Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or wherever, thank you for being here. We appreciate you watching. That's all that matters. Please share our link, share the video that you're watching on whatever device or platform that you're watching it on. We are very appreciative if you can do that. That helps us out. But our home right now is YouTube. And so that is where the majority of our people are. And we would highly thank you for watching us if you're not watching on YouTube, but we would recommend that you maybe pop on to YouTube at some point. Maybe not tonight, but one of our future shows, because you will be able to interact with more people that are commenting live. For those of you that are watching live on Thursday evening, we would ask that you please do all of these things. Do all of these things, the YouTube things, like, subscribe, hit the bell. If you're watching live. If you are watching live, comment over here in this live chat place. If you're watching upon repeat or replay at your convenience, comment down here below. And share the show with everyone you know. That's what matters. Hey, before we get started and before we get into anything serious, the last couple of nights I've got this out of the way early. That way I don't have to worry about it. Obviously, we are broadcasting this live. Right now it's 9:11 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, August 29th, 2024. Which means we are 241 days without correspondence from Dale Basham, a Muncie City councilor. And it's gross. He's been in office for exactly 242 days. We sent correspondence to him the night before he took office. We sent correspondence to him the day they took office. And we've sent plenty of correspondence throughout the rest of these 241 days. And the Muncie City Council is made up of 9 counselors. All of his other cohorts at some point have communicated with us, each and every one of them. But out of the 9, he is the only one that refuses to correspond via phone call, will not answer return calls, will not text. That'd be hilarious if that was him right there texting me. Hey, shut up, I'm here. No, it's not him. He won't text. He won't call. He won't email. I think he doesn't love us. So 241 days. We are going to count until he either responds and apologizes and resigns, or we, what was the language that got me in trouble the other night? Oh, we kick his ass out of city council. We vote his ass out. And so that's what I said the other day that got me in trouble. All right. So, 241 days. Write that down in your ledger and keep track. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, we do have some big news that we want to get to tonight. We want to we want to talk about some serious goings on from Madison County, and to do that, I feel like we would be completely lost if we didn't have our guide to the freaks in Madison County, Dr. Katherine Callahan.
Hey, how are you
Hey.
guys?
Now,
It's a good day.
Yeah. Before we get started here now, okay? Before we get started, I've got to say to you, I have a present for everybody. You know, generally when we have you on, I got to say last night, first of all, I woke up this morning thinking I was having a heart attack. And let me tell you why. I woke up this morning and my
Dreaming
jaw
about
hurt.
me.
Yeah, right. No, I woke up this morning and my jaw hurt. I'm like, oh no, my jaw hurts. I'm having a heart attack. But then I was like, oh no, my right jaw hurts too. Oh, my mouth hurts. It's because I talked for like 2 hours and 45 minutes straight last night. No pause, no stopping. When literally when we got done with the show last night, I was like, oh my God, my mouth hurts so bad. Last night's show was insane. I just talked. It was like one sentence with no pause. And so I had a couple people say that I pulled a Katherine last night. And
Nuh-uh.
normally,
oh yeah, no. You need to stick up for me.
No, listen. Well, normally it's been a running joke that I always say, okay, I've got 5 minutes, tell me everything you know. And you come on and we give you 15 minutes or half an hour, and 2.5 hours later, the show's still going. So the gift that I got everybody is this half-hour glass. Your time is running. Make it quick. We are like the
Are you trying to see how many times we're gonna flip it over?
Yeah, right. It just keeps flipping and flipping and flipping. It's like this. It's like this.
Listen, time just goes so quick with us.
Yeah, no, listen, I'll tell you, I'm gonna blame it. I'm gonna blame it on the people who I really blame. I can't even recall what it was. We were watching a show the other day. I was with my grandparents and we were watching a show the other day, and my grandparents just absolutely love you. They love you coming on and listening, and for a couple of different reasons. My grandpa really likes the politics and loves everything. And my grandmother, which I don't understand, she thinks that you're soothing. I'm like, what? Are you insane? And she's like, you know what? She was like, when you guys are on, and I don't know, maybe we bore her, but she's like, it helps me sleep better. So she loves it when you and I are on, because like Niall said, no one talks more than me. You and I are in a race. But we were watching a show. I can't even remember what it was. And the guy came on and said, I'm going to let you talk. And he flipped over an hourglass. And they said, oh, as part of that gag, you know, that would be funny. You should do that to Katherine. And I said, I have one of those things. I'm going to do it.
Where is Alva? Alva will not have this from you. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, no, I'm happy to talk to you today, because for the first time in a long time, I was able to come over to your neck of the woods and play with you guys today. And I actually got there just in time to be able to kind of yell and cause a little bit of a scene. So I was kind of excited.
Well, I really think that hourglass, I think that was with Judge Ito.
Yes.
So that's what I think you're having flashbacks to that.
That's hilarious.
So,
oh God.
Anyways, but no, it's been good times as far as everything that's going on. I'm trying to get more viewers on here, but I'm going to give a shout out to several people, because with 48 hours and 5 minutes of time, I never thought Madison County would show up like they did today. And did they show up? Yeah. I mean, I got some new ones. I mean, Kevin Fentner was there. Phil Poor never disappoints. Dave Sargent never disappoints. Yep. Jim Bauer.
I was happy to meet both of those men today. I've heard about them, but I've never met them personally. And so I was happy to meet both of them.
And so all three of them are precinct committee men who ran for the first time, with a little nudge from the Asian, but that's okay. Some call me the Crasian. I don't know, but
What is it? The Asian persuasion,
right? Or the
yeah,
crazy
yeah, I
Asian. But
love it. Yeah,
it's one of those things. We've got some Teresa Smock's always a good follower. Tim Milliken's a good follower. David Phelps is always a big supporter. So Cindy Ponchit, it's just great to see. I've made so many friends through this whole thing, but I just want everybody to know the biggest win for me today that has made me smile from ear to ear. My video from the election meeting already has 2,700 views and 70 shares.
yes,
70
yes,
shares.
that's
And so
amazing.
I just want you to know that is a win for me. And so
Yeah,
I am overjoyed. And without everybody's support, I
yeah.
couldn't do this without you. So I just wanted to give everybody out there, if I've missed you, I will get you on the next uptick. But I just wanted to know that I'm appreciative of everything, the support.
Well, and I want to add to that in saying that for it being a 9 o'clock meeting. No, we'll hold off the fact that it was like thrown together very last minute. The fact that it's just a 9 o'clock meeting on a Thursday when most normal people are at work or taking care of things that they need to take care of. I was impressed at how busy the room was, how packed it was, the citizens that were there. You had young people, you had old people, you had men, you had women, you had white, black, Asian, whatever I am.
Great
And
diversity.
So, yeah, it showed to me, me being the only person I think in the room that wasn't from Madison County, that it was a great cross section of the community of Madison County. And you guys need to be really proud about that. You had Republicans and Democrats.
And we had Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah,
I mean, we had it all. Everybody, everybody was there. We had all four parties.
It was definitely a circus. Well, and the other thing that's of interest is today was kind of a weird thing, and we'll get into it, but you have people who generally agree on things that normally agree, that maybe were at opposite ends of the spectrum on what was happening today, and maybe agreed or disagreed on what was going on, but they were still there. And both of those people still come together and say, whatever's going on, I might not like the thing that's happening right now, but I still want Russ to do the right thing. And everybody seemed to be kind of charged up. And the one big thing that I can say about today is, and we're going to play the video. It's a very short video and everything. And we can talk about all this and break it down. The one thing that I can say, and I heard this from 3 separate people, is Russ Willis. The shit has hit the fan for that man. He's been chopped off at the knees. Someone's beat his dog. He woke up in bed with his wife. I don't know what the deal was, but he was not his normal bombastic, bravado, over-the-top self. He seemed like a whipped pup today, and I think that is a direct result of what you've been doing and what those that have been working with you have been doing and what the people of Madison County have been doing, and you guys need to keep it up. The pressure is on him now. You do not want to let up. Now is when you need to kick it into high gear. Don't rest on your laurels and say, oh, we've won. Keep pressuring him, because he's no longer having fun. He's not making smart ass little quips. You notice they didn't say a damn thing about what I had to say today. They didn't push. He pushed back a little bit, and then I pushed back stronger. And then you know what they did? They spoke up and they did what they needed to do. So you guys are winning over there if you keep up the good and strong and hard work.
We are far from done over here.
That's true.
In Madison County. Larry Savage is leading his own charge as well. We're all trying to meet in the middle, coming from all different angles. And what's so amazing is I know they're all watching this video. And Kelly Hewer, if you think for 1 minute that the heat's going to die off of you,
oh yeah,
no way. As soon as Russ Willis is done, you're next on my list. And
you might as well just go ahead and bow out.
Yeah, and but here's the thing: she wants that chair seat. But when you poorly represent women,
Yep.
When you take down booths for the Republican Party,
That's so
when
gross.
you absolutely deliberately manipulate the system in order to support Russ, no, I'm not having that. And let me be clear to everybody, because I'll have people will come on Facebook or whatever and say, well, you lost your election, you're just angry. Oh, Catherine's not angry. To me, winning an election, well, that's a bonus. The fact that I've put the pressure out there for these guys that they can't get out of their own way, and they're now cutting off their nose to spite their face, that's the win. The win is I have no problem being the person who comes in and shakes up the whole party and then steps aside and says, yes, let these new people come in. You guys go ahead and build bridges together. Because to me, that's the win. The win is not about Katherine Callahan. The win is about the people.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's what everybody, there is nothing for me to gain from doing all this. I have a very busy practice. I have a very busy life. But the gain is that I helped the people. And that's what mattered. Just like today when I was in that meeting. And they said, they talked about the stakeholders. But you're not letting the stakeholder speak. The stakeholder isn't Terry Austin. The stakeholder isn't this election board. The stakeholders are the people sitting in these seats.
Yep.
That's who your stakeholders are.
Yep.
Somehow they have forgotten that.
We are having that big fight. We are having that big fight over here in Delaware County, right? It's going on everywhere. It's going on nationally. But this is a good time for me to tell everybody, because I know we've got a big audience from Madison County that is watching, but I also know that we have people from Muncie or Delaware County or Henry County or Marion County, or we've got people from Colorado or Louisiana or wherever. Listen, don't say, because I know there's some people that's getting ready to be like, all right, click, this doesn't interest me. They're not talking about national. They're not talking about my neck of the woods. It's not about Muncie. It's not about Sproles. Don't do that, because even though, and I say this all the time, even though we might not be talking about say you live elsewhere in Indiana. First of all, anywhere in Indiana, the law is the same. We've got state law that's statewide, and the same action goes on. And so no matter if we're in your neck of the woods, the things that we are talking about, if you live in any of Indiana's 92 counties, save for Indianapolis and Marion County, they're a little bit different because they are the only Unigov, but it's mostly the same. Everywhere else, all of the other 91 counties, you can apply the things that we are talking about to your neck of the woods, and do not be daft. This insanity is going on where you are. However small your community is, however large it is, this craziness is going on. And so people need to hear this stuff because it helps you to be a good citizen. Elsewhere, I understand outside of Indiana that laws are different and that you might have different elected officials and there might be different things. That being said, the basic building block of being a citizen and saying, hell no, we won't go. We're going to stand up. You can fight City Hall. I as a citizen am the most, I'm not powerful because I have this microphone. I'm not powerful because I have a show. You're not powerful because you have you're live and people watch your Facebook. We're powerful because we are citizens and we're speaking up. The most powerful position in government, whether it be local, state, or federal, is the position of the citizen. And when we get together, that is the most powerful. And so you can utilize what's being said here everywhere. So people should stay tuned into this, even if you don't live in Madison County, because this is very important information that's being disseminated.
Rebecca Kroom says it best. What we've forgotten, the power is in the people.
Absolutely.
And you got to keep telling yourself that. The power is in the people.
Yeah.
And look at what a change the election board was today when all these people showed up. It was a whole different tune going on in that room. Completely different tune.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're even starting to see people in the county who works for the county who are like, whoa, we're we gotta do this for the people now.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see some division start taking place.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's really a thing that when you see Russ, for the people that don't know him, you might not know, but for the people who've watched and have paid attention, see, you can clear. I mean, maybe it doesn't transfer over to the video as well, but I could absolutely tell Russ Willis was a different man today from I've known Russ for probably about 7 or 8 years. I've known him longer than I've known you. And I've known him to be, he's always been this way. And he was a different person today than I have ever seen him before. And so that is really an amazing thing. And real quick, before we get into it, we mentioned a bunch of people, and I don't know, you mentioned the name, if you know it's okay, but I just want to throw this out here. And I talked to you earlier. I met those couple different men that you mentioned, but I was introduced. I talked to someone today that I've talked to in the past, but I think today was the first time that we actually interacted. It was a woman that was there. And all I'm going to say is she's an attorney. And then you say if you can, I don't know if she wants me to mention her name or not, but
you can say her name.
So it was Lorraine, which is Sean's wife. Okay. And I've watched her before when she's an attorney, and I've watched her represent people in that before, and I didn't know her. So I know that Sean and them, they help you, and you've helped them, and you guys are citizens fighting the corruption there. But I didn't know that was her as the person. And so we're in that meeting, and I see her up to the bat, and I'm like, the very first time I didn't know what side she was on. And I'm like, listen to here, she's going to be a corrupt asshole, just like the rest of them, yada, yada. And then she gets up there and she slayed them. This was like in February or something. And I was like, holy crap. And I was like, man, I got to get that woman's number, because I want to know if we could hire her to do some stuff in Delaware County. And then she got up again and just did it again. And I was like, all right. I'm like making eye contact with her, and I'm like giving her a thumbs up. Well, I got out of the car today and she mentioned my name, and I was like, oh man. And I always hate that. And I don't want to be rude, because I was like, I don't know what her name is. I knew the name, but I just didn't know it with the body. So then when I found out that was Lorraine, I'm like, oh, that is awesome. And I am so happy that I met her today. She is a badass. I don't know if her or her husband's watching, but she was awesome. We talked about several different points. She is on point, and you guys really have a good thing with that husband and wife over in Madison County. And so she was awesome. So I was happy she was there, and I agree with everything that she had to say today. And you have some really good people. And I think that Delaware County has started to coalesce around some different ideas. And I think that our people are starting to come together, and I think I'm seeing it. And so I am happy about that. But I've been really jealous about the various people that you guys have over there, because we have all the corruption and the chaos and insanity. This is little Chicago, blah, 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 whatever. Well, there's been people that have talked, but people haven't come together. And I think that we're finally doing that. So we're probably about 6 months or a year behind you, honestly, as far as coming together and really getting active in trying to take things down. But I'm very excited about the people that you guys have. So
it's an interesting tripod. Cool. It's, how Sean and I actually, and it actually was Troy Abbott and Lorraine, how we all initially came together.
Okay.
We were brought together by a news reporter who said, you four need to connect. And so from there, it just kind of broke off into doing more, and they became very active in the coroner's office. They were already somewhat entrenched with the corruption. And then from there, we just began to play off of each other's skills and got stronger and stronger and built more and more momentum. And then from there, we've built with Lisa Rinker, the Norricks.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Savage, and we've just continued to build stronger and stronger. And now we're starting to get the outliers to come on, like Cindy and Kevin Fentner and Tim Milliken, all these other people who are the people, the stakeholders. are all starting to jump on board and help us. And so, just like we couldn't have taken all these seats without all these stakeholders putting themselves out there and saying, we'll run for party or precinct committeeman.
Yeah.
And so it's been a great opportunity to serve the people. And again, Lori and Sean and I and many others are the same way. This is about the people and doing what's right for the people. We don't have to be in the limelight. We don't have to be the one in charge. I don't know, for some reason, I just got to be the spokesperson. Lori will speak, but she is more of the brains behind. And then Sean is the uber brain behind it with all of the IT skills. And so everybody has a skill set. And so that's what makes it so wonderful. And nobody's like, oh, this is my role. Oh, you can't be like that. Whoever can lead, let them lead. That's where the win becomes. So that's what has been great about Madison County. And I think it's kind of taken things a little bit off kilter because they're not used to dealing with people who've done their homework, who've done their research, and who aren't going to back down. I say this kindly, when John Richwine was asked, how was he liking politics lately? And his response was, well, I used to enjoy it until that bitch Katherine came along. Well, I don't know what the name calling's for.
Right.
I don't. And so, he should be embracing me coming along and holding him accountable and asking questions.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, just like you talk about the people from out of state that are watching us, I want the people. Maybe we can learn something from you or generate some other ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
And hopefully we can give you some ideas. I don't know. That would be the great thing. So, and there's a couple of things I really wish we would start the show, even though we're well into this. You have to tell us your experience on the second floor of the county building today.
Oh yeah, it was definitely interesting. First of all, God, my phone died and I wish I had a picture of this. This just shows you how screwed up Madison County is. I'm going to get this picture. I might even go there tomorrow just to get it.
I can't believe Nicole didn't get it.
I'm standing on, I kind of mentioned this to her, but I didn't tell her how much it made an impression on me. I'm standing on the second floor of the building, looking at the stairwell and standing up there. And so below me is the first floor. Above me is the third floor. There's a picture on the wall that says our ADA bathrooms are on the third floor of the building. How Madison County is that sign? I wanted to rip that sign off the wall and bring it home with me. Like, dear God, what in the world? Why are the bathrooms for the handicapped people not on the first floor of the building?
Well, don't let the elevators go out.
Yeah, right. What in the hell? That is insane to me. Like, they proudly display this. Our bathrooms for the people in wheelchairs are on top of the building. I'm like, you got to walk across that path there to get to it. I was like, what? This is insane to me. Their haircuts must have been there too, because we didn't get there. But
hey, Larry Savage, if you're up at the courthouse tomorrow, let's get a picture of that.
Take a picture. Someone up there, please. It's right there by the elevators and whatnot. And obviously, look, I get it. They can just jump in the elevator and take the elevator up.
Not always.
I understand it, but not always. What happens when that doesn't work? What happened in power
outage?
Yeah. So that's so Madison County to me. It's so backwards ass government to me that they would put something like that on a wall and be like, oh, that makes sense, rather than trying to do something about that. But okay, real quickly, I can tell you.
They don't have to have it actually accessible, Christopher.
Yeah, right.
Need to have one.
Somewhere they need to have the sign. And people, what's funny is that sign, I don't know, maybe it's on the first floor too. I didn't see it. I'm like, dude, you've literally got to get to the second floor to find out the bathroom's on the third floor. It's nuts. And I noticed it wasn't in Braille or anything. So it was just like there. And I thought, this is so comedy to me. I mean, it was just
But
like,
at least they have one, and that's all that matters.
Welcome to Madison County.
yeah,
We're
right.
not worried about the floor.
We got a beer cooler
We're
for a
worried about
morgue.
the basement.
Yeah, right. They've got a beer cooler for a morgue. So, so, okay. Yeah, we'll get ready to go because the meeting's rather short, but I will tell the story real quick. So basically the long and short of this is, for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking with someone that's watching now who's been trying to get some records from the clerk's office. And I will say, I kind of consider myself a connoisseur of the public access request law system in Indiana and beyond. I've issued countless record requests throughout various states in the United States, in Indiana, beyond, wherever. And so I really love doing that and I try to use every loophole that I can to make sure that they've got to give me as much as they possibly can give me. And I'm fairly friendly with Luke Britt, who's the public access counselor of Indiana. I make sure to have him on speed dial and whatever. And so this person is saying, hey, I've not been able to get these documents. As you may or may not know, in the state of Indiana, and people always freak out when I say this, so listen to exactly what I'm saying before you freak out. In the state of Indiana, it is perfectly legal for me, for you, for any one of us to walk into our county building, to go into the clerk's office, or if they have a little special office for voters registration, and to request the voter history. And I will tell you what that means here in a minute. The voter history of any voter in Madison County. So, for example, Christopher Bilbrey from Muncie, Indiana, or John Doe from California could drive to Madison County, go to voters registration, fill out a record request, and say, I want the voter history of Katherine Callahan. And basically what happens at that point is they have to prepare that document and give it to you. Now, you're not getting who they voted for. It doesn't say, oh, Katherine voted for Trump, Katherine voted for Biden, Katherine didn't vote here, whatever. What it says is, it says primary, general, primary, general, primary, general. And it shows if Katherine voted in the primary, if she voted in the general, if she voted in the primary, it'll say yes or no or whatever. And in the primary, it tells if she pulled a Republican ballot, if she pulled a Democrat ballot, or if she pulled a school board ballot. And it tells that information. And that's the way that people can verify who is able to run for office, or, you're able to run for office on the Republican ticket or the Democrat ticket. So that is an accessible record. And most record requests governed by the public access counselor, when you issue a record request, there's a timeline for how quickly they should give them to you. They have to give them to you, how they have to respond, and yada, yada, yada. And a lot of places like to drag their feet, but most places, I always say, within about a week's turnaround time, you should be able to get records. However, there is a law in the state of Indiana that pertains to it pertains to Indiana election material, like any kind of material as it relates to campaign finance or people who file or other various things. And it's very important. It's very important because this is what governs your ability to your ability to get this in a timely manner. Because, for example, when you file at the beginning of the year to run for office, there's a challenge period that happens right after that, and it's only a 10-day window. So if I want to challenge Katherine and I need to look at something on her paperwork, and they say, well, we're going to drag our feet they could drag their feet to the point where I don't get to see what I need, and then I can't challenge. So in an act of the Indiana General Assembly trying to help us, and really they probably weren't trying to help us, they were probably trying to help their buddies trying to kick people off, they wrote the following Indiana Code 3-9-4-5, which states, the election division of each county election board shall make the reports and statements filed with them available for public inspection and copying, commencing as soon as practicable, but not later than the end of the second business day following the day during which they were received. So now, these voter registration paperworks, while they're not specifically statements, they are election documents in the office, and I am of the mind that I'm going to use this law to push back. I guess one day they can try to push back against me. I feel like it's going to happen now, and we can then test this theory of mine with Luke Britt. And maybe I'm wrong, but until I'm proven wrong, we're going to continue doing it. So I went up today and I got a document. First of all, I go to the window at voter registration, and I'm like, here, I'm here for records. And they point me and say, well, you got to go over there. And I'm like, I know I didn't need to. I was like, oh, okay, I've got to go to the clerk's office. And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'll be back here because I'm looking for voter registration information. And the guy's like, oh, well, okay, well, you do that here. And I'm like, okay, well, that's why thank you. So I wasn't rude to him. I was just like, yeah, I know. So he comes up and he hands me the packet of paper. Now, I normally issue record requests via email, and I would recommend most people doing it by email because you can submit what you want to submit, no less or no more. And it's very important, and people need to know this. When you are submitting record requests, they are going to tell you that they need all kinds of crap from you. It's the same thing as when you try to speak at a meeting. They tell you that you need to give your name and you need to give your address. You don't need to do any of that. Matter of fact, the same laws and the same person governs kind of both of these. The public access counselor governs open door meetings and what goes on in meetings and how that happens, also governs the record request. So it's kind of all neat and tidy like that. So when you ask for records, all you've got to do is go up and say, hey, I would like some records. And I always say, when you do it, I always say, I have the right to inspect or have copies of the records. And the reason I say that is sometimes they will say, okay, well, we're going to prepare these for you, but in order to prepare them, you're going to have to pay money and it's going to cost a lot of money. Like, for example, body camera footage. Well, say, I don't want a copy. I just want to inspect it. They have to make available for you a place to inspect that for free. And then you can use your camera or your video to record what you're watching, and they can't charge you for that. And that's perfectly legal. So you always but however, if you don't say the inspect in there and you say you just want copies, then they can hold you to. I about had to pay $700 one time to Henry County, but what saved my butt was the fact that I put in that I'm here, I want to inspect or copy. And so the fact that I put inspect in there, it saved my butt, and I didn't have to pay that. And that burnt their ass, and it's a whole nother story. So I walk up here and I get this document, and the very first thing it tells me to do is write my name. Okay, I'll write my name. I've got no problem with that. But I could put John Doe. I could put Elvis Presley. I could do whatever. I could be like, oh, hey, by the way, sir, what's your name? And he's like, that's Larry Brown. And I could put Larry Brown down. They can't stop you. Now, the thing is, you have to at least give them some way to contact you, a phone number, an email, something, because they do have to have a way to contact you. So I write my name down. It asks for my address. I immediately mark through the address portion, and I put, nah, I'll come back to pick these up in person once you contact me and let me know that they're done. And I write my phone number out there. It then has me sign my name, which I do. It has me give my address. It then tells me to list my reason for the request. Now, I almost just marked this out because you don't have to give a reason, but instead I thought I'll see if this makes them mad. I just wrote something to the effect of, I'm just wanting to inspect these records to make sure that Madison County government is proper and above board and doing things correctly. And that's what I put in there. And then I issued what I wanted, which was the voter's history of a specific man. I listed his name, his date of birth, his address, the information that I had, and I put that on there. And I take it back to the window, and the man grabs it to me, and instantly he's one of Russ's lackeys, so he's got an attitude that he's alive. He's one of those guys, and he looks at this, and he's like, first thing he says is, you didn't give us your address. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to be mailing these to me, so there's no reason for you to know where I live for me to come back and pick these up. And he's like, huh. And then the very first thing he sees after that is he sees that I wrote down that Indiana code that I just read you that said you got 2 days. And he's like, listen, we're going to be giving this to the attorney, and you'll get these when you'll get them. And I was like, well, that's true. I will probably. Hopefully it's within the 2 days, or you're going to have a problem with. And he cut me off, and he's like, look, pal, it's none of my concern. To which I said, that's the problem in Madison County. None of this is anybody's concern. I was like, that's the problem. Nothing here is anyone's
rules
concern.
Don't apply here in Madison.
Yeah, right.
Indiana code is insignificant in Madison County.
Yeah, maybe if things started being people's concern, there wouldn't be such an issue. You wouldn't have to be so hostile. It wouldn't force me to be so hostile, and we could just get shit done, So he says that. He interrupts me, so I'm like, no, that don't stand. I'm going to continue talking. So he says his piece, I say my piece, and then I say, but back to what I was saying again. So just let your attorney know when you send it to him that this is a code I'm aware of, and he has 2 days to get these to me, or you guys will be hearing from Luke Britt. And he was like, okay, whatever. And then he flips it and he says, your reason for requesting these records are to make sure that we are above board and doing things like right. And I was like, yeah, sure. Isn't that a good enough reason? And he starts to say something. And I said, look, I didn't need to write a reason down. I don't need a reason. I said, I could literally request these records to tell you that I want to take them outside and put them in a burn pit. And I was like, I could set these records on fire. You could give me these records and I could wad them up and throw them away or throw them on the ground, I guess. That'd probably be littering. But I was like, I don't need to give you a reason. And all of that stuff, which is just standard law, makes them mad. It makes them mad. And I'm like, dude, why? Like, why? It's not taking.
Listen, you haven't kissed the ring, okay?
Yeah, right.
You kiss that ring right there. You got to kiss it.
Yeah. Just absolutely insane to me. So I'm like, dude, like, just look, I'm not trying to make your life. Here's the shit. You're not going to be getting him. Pass that off to who it's got to be and let me walk away. So I walked away. I did run into Heather Bailey today, and she was just as sweet as could be. And I almost said to her, look, all you guys got to do is stop making it so hard up here. But I didn't. So I'm saying it now. Hey, Heather, it was a pleasure seeing you today. Just quit making it so hard up there. Everybody, it's not crazy.
My advice to Heather, to Devin Scroggins, y'all better get yourself some new mentors, because the ones that are around you are a cancer, and they're going to take you down a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You stick with that cancer, you will become that cancer, or you will be a casualty.
Yeah. Hey, really,
it just will.
Really, really briefly, I'm seeing something going on here in the chat. And I apologize. Generally, people, if you're new here, we normally interact with the chat more. However, when I have Katherine on, neither one of us like to shut up, so we just talk, and I apologize. Let me tell you this. We've got a couple people. It looks like Mercedes Harmon.
These are new followers that have recently appeared on my Facebook, who I'm glad that they're here tonight. I was hoping that they would show up. They've been in some corruption themselves.
Okay. Well, so real quick, it says Danette is saying, watch that part a couple minutes before that. How it won't let me. Are you talking about this feed? So I noticed that you guys are on Facebook. I don't know if you're talking about this feed. Number one, if you have the ability to watch on YouTube, that would be better. That's it helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps us out if you can watch on YouTube. You don't have to watch on YouTube. You can stay right where you are. It also, watching on YouTube would allow you to see the comments of people, more people, because more people watch on YouTube. The other thing is it'll allow you to go back. But if for whatever reason it doesn't, obviously this will be on YouTube and you can watch it, at your convenience anytime afterwards. But welcome. Thank you for being here. And if either one of you, so she's put up, producer Kate's put up the YouTube feed there. She's also put up the actual link. Is that the actual link to this episode? So what she's put up on the screen right there is the actual link to this episode. If you go to YouTube, look in the political spotlight or go to the link, or you can also go to my Facebook page, which is Kristopher H. Bilbrey on Facebook, or go to Catherine's, and I've actually posted the link there. But while you're there and while you're going to YouTube, also friend me on Facebook and let's talk or do whatever. Okay. I just wanted to talk with them a minute.
Well, and Mercedes and Danette need to know that I'm a little slow on the IT stuff, so I just post and pray for the best. So I'm not that savvy with all this stuff. I have to rely on Nicole and Bree and those guys when I'm doing some of this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Now, real quick, and I hate because this just takes us away from where we're going. Aha! You said the magic words. You're requesting court records now. Court records are a touch different than so there's three types of record request. Basically, you have public record request, which is for basically anything in government that is not election related material and anything in government that is not court related material. So public record request is like, you want emails between your mayor and your councilors. You want a contract on who's getting the bid on this. You can get all that stuff. You want information on how your election board is voting or how your county council is voting. That is all under the public access stuff. The public access laws as it relates to election material is a little bit different. And then the public access law as it relates to court documents is a little bit different. But if you get a hold of me, on Facebook Messenger or whatever, friend me after this. When we go off, I will talk to you and we can kind of walk through and I'll help you. I'll do whatever I can to help you. So we'll do whatever. So that's cool.
So I know we talked about Indiana code.
Yep.
Kate, I just sent you. So I had problems when we were trying to finish up for Vice PCs. And I had sent over a request and I was up against the clock because we had an outlier that needed a Vice PC and we were down to the 48 or less than 48 hour mark. So look at the law. I don't know if it's a Russ Willis statute.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's a Lloyd Brown statute. I have no idea. But look what Lloyd responds to me because I'm waiting and I need these records in order to get that into the, be able to submit right away. And this is what he says. They have to have 2 signatures.
Yeah, hold on. Can you blow this up a little bit? Oh, you don't have the ability to? Oh, hold on. She's trying to get it to us a different way.
So
okay.
Devin, I sent it to Devin because he's always so responsive. And he said, and all of a sudden, this like was overnight, literally, because I'd been asking all week on. And I
wait, where did you send this to? Oh, yeah, that's much better.
I sent to Devin
awesome.
And I said, hey, Devin, I need these records, and he's like, well, now I have to get another person's. It's another part of the chain. Well, then he kept waiting for Lloyd to sign off. Now they say you have to have a Democrat and a Republican sign off on your requests.
All right, hold on. Miss Callahan, first, this office takes all requests seriously. Starting on April 9th, 2024 at noon, by state law, registrations were closed. Starting on April 9th. Okay, that's right. From that time until 2 weeks after the election on May 7th, 2024, this office has received almost 2,000 requests of re-registration and address changes and new applications for registrations. This freeze period happens and causes the backup. Yep, I'm aware of what they're talking about. When the freeze is over, we work hard to catch up and are currently almost to that point. They're not to that point yet. I mean, dude, that was April.
I don't care if they have a freeze or not. Indiana code says you've got 48 hours to produce those records.
Yeah, no,
less.
Yeah, that's right. But the biggest point is, why are they like Delaware County gets that done? I mean, in Madison County and Delaware County are practically the same size. Delaware County gets that done quickly. Like, I don't know why they would still be taking care of that. All right, so moving on here. Okay. With this email, I have stepped away from that effort to take your request. Okay, no big deal. To imply this office is playing a game is irresponsible. I don't think he's using that word properly. It's not, he might not like it, but it's not irresponsible. It might hurt his feelings, but it's not irresponsible. Irresponsible is like, playing with matches, but it's not saying this office is a joke or playing a game. Mr. Willis does not work in this office and has not for several years. For several years.
Now, that is not true, because if Cindy Ponchett is on this feed,
yep, she is.
Russ Willis is over that. It was made very clear by Linda Clark. So he's your boss. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something. Lloyd Brown, I don't know where you got your MBA from, but you better go get your money back, because they poorly educated you.
Yeah, that dude, that's the guy that I had it out with. That's the guy that I had it out with over the record. And that guy is like, he thinks he's somebody. He had his volunteer fireman shirt on or whatever, and he's something good. He needs to retire is what he needs to do. The purpose of the form is a record of who is asking for computerized or non-computerized data, as some information we keep is personal information and restricted. Yes, and Indiana law governs that. The form we use is approved by the State Board of Accounts for miscellaneous counties, as shown on the form. The form speaks for itself in asking for two-party approval. I will attempt to locate the information you have requested. I would suggest that in the future, if you want this type of information, copy myself of the request and Devin and I can work together. Devin and I can work together on it, and we'll cut your response time down. That's interesting. Respectfully, Lloyd Brown, Voter Registration Office.
I'm being told that Lloyd Brown is a retired police officer.
Oh, well, that might be. Look, hey.
Lloyd is also retired city PD.
Well, let me tell you.
He's worthless as tits on a boar is what he is.
Yeah, let me tell you. That just about tracks. I could have smelled the old cop on him. As a former cop, Mr. Lloyd, I can tell you, stick that, because I don't care. You're retired.
So
you're nobody anymore.
See if Kate will put up another one of those. So I sent Kate another one.
Hold on. Is this all in the messages?
Yeah, but I sent her another one, and he goes on to say that they got to have this. They knew I needed it by noon, right? They knew I needed it. So what's Lloyd do? He sends it to me at 12:46. Thank God I had picked correctly. So here, Catherine, per Indiana Code 3-7-27, the Board of Registration created a data request policy that includes a requirement for both board members from each party to sign off on their request.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't understand how hard this is to do. Now, 24 hours earlier, they could get me requests in 5 minutes.
That's interesting.
But when they wanted to start blocking who our vice PCs were, so we would run the clock down, so then Russ would have that control. That's where they went with this.
Yeah.
So anybody who thinks that the election office is on the up and up, as long as Lloyd Brown's working in there, y'all aren't getting nothing right.
Yeah,
and the fact that Linda Smith goes, well, I'm not over that. It belongs to Russ and Terry. No, ultimately, Linda, it's your office.
I could not believe that you guys have a clerk that does not understand. Listen, all she needs to do is say, who is the chief election officer of the state? It is the Indiana Secretary of State. Well, the Indiana Secretary of State is kind of the state version of the county clerks. The county clerk is the county chief election officer. So the fact that she was making the statement and has made it multiple times that she's not, it has nothing to do with voter registration. Dude, if you guys keep electing, I don't know where she is in her terms or what she's doing.
This is her first term. So
but if you guys reelect her, you get what you get.
Absolutely.
She's an idiot. She needs to go.
Well, it's the same thing with Richwine. I mean, I cannot believe that you keep electing these people. This is insanity. You know, and once you guys watch this meeting, it just shows you how ridiculous of a circus show this is. So I just wanted to point out that Lloyd Brown needs to take his MBA and give it back because he got ripped off.
Yeah. Well.
And he gives police officers a bad name.
Yeah, we don't need no stinking badges.
So, but I'm glad that you got to see firsthand the same rodeo show that I'm at, and
yeah,
we'll just keep moving forward.
That guy's a douchebag. Yeah, I'm not a.
And Danette's right. They have forgotten that we're the people they work for.
Yeah.
But
I've recently been yelling that in Delaware County here recently.
Yeah, the more we show up, the more they're starting to get the idea picture.
Yeah.
That, the gig is up. Yeah. So, but without further, so I got a couple questions that some people were asking.
Okay.
If someone's voter registration does not go through, do they get notified that it got denied?
Why would your voter registration not go through?
I don't know. Detective Lloyd Brown thinks he's a forensic scientist and he can match people's signatures. Don't ask me what they come up with. Wait till they see Lloyd Brown at the podium today. I'm thinking to myself, you need to sit down.
Yeah, that dude was a joke. I wish I would have known all of that beforehand. I would have been making noise and laughing and carrying on.
I mean, it was just unbelievable. So how do you, if somebody's waiting and they're like, where's my voter registration? What's happened to why isn't my voter registration here? Would they be informed or something, or you just have to follow it that you didn't get it back?
Listen, that's a good question. It's probably a good question for the clerk or the registrations office.
Well, you can't ask Madison County.
That's hilarious.
So then the other question is this.
First of all, let me say, I guess that makes sense that happens. I don't know. I don't know what happens. I mean, when you file and they register you, they send you a card that says, "Yeah, your registration, da 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 da." You're now in the idiots club, and that's that. But I would assume that they would send you something saying that, but I don't know. I guess that's something. Listen, this is why
there's a reason for asking these questions.
Well, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you should not register through the clerk's office.
Yes.
You should go to www.indiana. Right here it is at the bottom of the screen. Register to vote by going to the following link: www.indianavoters.com. www.indianavoters.com. Go there, register. Go there to if you've got married, if you've got divorced, if you've moved, if if you've had a little bit of dementia since last time, just check it. You should go here multiple times. I check this for myself. I check it for my grandparents. I check it for my mother, my stepfather, and just random folks that I know that I'm friends with, or people to make sure that they're registered frequently, to make sure that people haven't been purged, because a lot of stupid shit happens. So if you want to double check, you can go here and check your registration. You can go there and check. This is a good resource. And if something is wrong, then you need to contact your clerk's office first and the Secretary of State's office second. Go ahead.
So Teresa Smock works the polls and has for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And she said there's a ton of people who show up at the polls who think they're registered and they're not. So they must not tell them. So here's the other thing. I think you need to explain to people when the cutoff is, and that you cannot register the day of voting.
Yeah, I'll take that, Cindy. Yeah, that's also important for people to know. So you see this right here, IndianaVoters.com. Okay. Right now, if you have, hey, I saw that, Alva, and I saw that your state, I saw that Louisiana they said, look, we don't care. We're not listening to the bitching. We don't care what you think about it. We're going to start requiring proof of who you are, your blah, 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 blah. And we're not going to put up with faulty people. So if you live in Louisiana, make sure you got your state issue ID, have your shit with you, because, they're going to start checking, which, all right, whatever. So yeah, this is very important. In the state of Indiana, voters registration is open like a lot of the time. However, 28 days before the election, the voters registration closes. So I always tell people, we have an election coming up here. Yeah, that's right, Alva. We have an election coming up here on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. If you have never voted before, if you are 18 years old, if you're 60 years old, if you've never voted before, if you're interested in voting in this election, you need to go to www.indianavoters.com and you need to go through the process. It will take you 5 or less minutes. It is very quick. Have your state issued ID card with you. Type in your information and register to vote. You'll be done. However, there is a cutoff, and if you do not register to vote before the cutoff, then you will not be able to register. I have people who call me every election day. I talk about this for months leading up to it. And I say, don't be one of the people that calls me. Inevitably, there will be people that call me. At every election, someone calls me and says, hey, they're telling me I can't vote. How do I get registered? And I always have to tell that person, call me in 2 weeks. I'll help you get registered. You can vote next election, but you're shit out of luck today. And they always get mad and they don't understand it. And it is what it is. But you have to get registered. In the primary, the election that happens in May, you can vote if you have a 17-year-old who will be 8. Like for example, my birthday's in July. So my very first time voting, I voted in May when I was 17. You can register if you will be 18 on or before Tuesday, the election day in November. You can register when you're 17 to vote in May. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of different things, but both in the May primary and then in the general election in November, the cutoff period happens. I can tell you that in the state of Indiana, the cutoff deadline for voting, for registration, to register to vote this year, the cutoff is October. Let's see here. It is Voter registration ends on Monday, October 7th, 2024. Now, if you register through the clerk's office, that ends at the time that the clerk's office closes at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 4:30 or 5, whenever they close in your county. However, if you register by going to indianavoters.com, you can register online, and you are allowed to register until 11:59 p.m. When you get 11:59 and it ticks over to midnight, it's done. And it will still let you register, but it will not take it. It will not accept it. It might look like it does, but I promise you it doesn't. So vote, get registered, change your voter registration, update your voter registration, update your name, do whatever you got to do. We have a very serious election coming here, folks, on Tuesday, November 5th. We have a very serious presidential election. We have a very serious state general election. We have a very serious local election. We have a serious presidential race we need to focus on. We have a very serious governor's race we need to focus on here in the state of Indiana. And I'm here to tell you, get registered in this election. There's plenty of time between now and then for you to get educated on what you need to do.
Oh, they won't take expired IDs.
They will not take expired IDs. So there's a lot of hoopla that you got to kind of jump through. So that's
now
that.
Here's the other thing.
Okay.
So I have 2 daughters who are at school.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you their college because some of you people are freaks, but they're
text me
like,
afterwards. I'll tell you where they're.
Mom, we're not going to come home and vote. So what are we going to do down at the dorms?
Okay, this is very simple. This is very simple. This is very, 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 very simple. You can do one of 2 things. They can choose to vote where they are at, and they can register where they're at and vote where they're at.
Well, their address is home.
Oh, well, technically their address is where they stay during the night. But if to your point, if they don't want to do that, if they want to stay, if they want to register at home, if they want to, I would assume they're already registered.
They are already registered.
Currently registered.
It took them less than 90 seconds online.
Oh yeah. It's very quick.
Super fast.
It's very quick. I always say you can do it. You can do it on a stoplight in a car. Yep. You can do it on the toilet. Do it in the bathtub. You can from the device that you're watching this on. You can register, get it done. It's very quick. You can do it while watching this video, and you'll be done before I'm done talking about it. When voter registration ends on, I told you earlier that voters registration ends on Monday, October 7th. Here's the interesting thing that people don't know. Early voting then begins the very next day. So on Tuesday, October 8th, you could technically walk into your clerk's office and you could vote and get it done and out of the way. Now, there's pros and cons to it. I tell people don't do that unless you are unless you're like a fart in a skillet and you don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday, November 5th. You might be out of here. You might be on a drug binge or whatever. Then go vote early. But people need to vote on Tuesday on election day in person. That's the biggest and best way to vote. If you can't, then there's other better ways to go vote in person in the clerk's office early. But for your kids, for anybody that's not going to be around here, they can vote by absentee. For example, my grandparents have voted absentee for the last probably 4 elections. We fill out information. It's very easy.
Listen, don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because online, you can do it in 90 seconds for those absentee ballots.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Quick.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy quick.
Yeah, you fill out the information online.
You can save a tree.
You do all of that at indianavoters.com. You can do all of that there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you can go there. That's what I mean. We do it online. You go there, you fill out online. It's very easy. You send it in. It's like no headache. They then will send you your ballot in the mail. You fill it in. It's like the old Scantron for those that went to school and did all that. Fill in make your mark heavy and dark, fill in the circle, use a number 2 pencil. They say you can use ballpoint pen. Do not do that. Use a number 2 pencil. Listen, that's stuck in my head from school. Do not make a mark on this with anything other than a pencil. If in school the shit wouldn't count, I'm telling you, don't trust them to be like, yeah, you could use a hot pink pen. Bullshit. Use a number 2 pencil. Make your mark heavy and dark. Do not color outside of the oval. Period. Just like when you did SATs, man. It's very easy. Do that and send and take it in and send it in. Now,
Sometimes
I am not a big
here in Randolph County. We were able to call and request it.
You got to call and request what?
Absentee ballots.
Well, how do they know it's you?
Wait, what do you mean you got to call? What do you mean
They
you
can
got to
give
call?
you a license number. That's not.
We didn't fill out the thing online.
Well, you got problems up in Randolph County because
We
how do I know you didn't give my driver's license? Just saying.
We called and requested them, and they mailed them to us in Germany.
Oh, well, now wait a minute.
Well, but you're an APOAE address. It's different.
That might be a little bit
military.
different.
That might be a little different, but
For military, but they ain't gonna give it to
they
us.
mailed them.
Do you guys still vote absentee or do you vote in person?
No.
No, we walk our asses up to the courthouse.
All right, that's
Ain't
what
good
I
voting.
thought. Yeah, that's what needs to happen. More, if you can vote in person, that needs to happen, folks.
Now, the satellite locations for a week before to beat the rush. Now, they do have early voting, and it's only in certain locations. It depends on where you are in the state and what kind of voting they do. Do they have precincts, or do you have?
Well, in Madison County,
or if you're in Madison
you can go
County,
anywhere.
and that's part of
And we're
part of
going
the
to talk
election
about that
meeting.
mess.
Yeah, it's a shit
when that
show.
video comes up.
Yeah,
But, so here's my other question.
yeah,
So if someone's ballot gets thrown out
yeah.
for whatever reason, Lloyd Brown, the detective, thinks that you put an X
Your
mark.
ballot, your voter registration.
Yeah. Your ballot. Do you get notified?
No, wait.
So I send my ballot in, and for whatever reason it gets removed or kicked out. Do I get notified that mine didn't go through?
No.
Well, then how am I supposed to learn what error I made?
You're not supposed to learn. They don't.
You mean to
give a
tell
shit.
me it is subjective on the clerk's office or whoever's looking
Folks,
through these
this is why you
what they can
don't.
throw out? Is
This
that what
is
you're
why
telling
you
me?
don't want to do absentee ballot.
Okay. Now you wonder why things are so screwed up in Madison County?
Yeah.
Right there. Because
No, but it's that way. It's that way everywhere.
okay, but I'm telling you, it's a lot worse in Madison County.
But well,
So-
I mean, but it
here's
can't be-
Catherine's
it can't-
ballot. We should just
Well,
throw it out.
Yeah, no, listen. So that's the thing. So basically, what happens, and we'll cover all of this. I cover all this at some point. But when they send you your ballot, you got to look for a bunch of shit. When they send it to you, there are two different things that have two different lines: a line for a Republican, a line for a Democrat. Okay. And they both have to have signatures. It has to have a Republican line and Democrat line signed on. And then the envelope has to have that. And if either one of those is missing a signature, you can do everything right. If they forgot a signature, they'll throw it out. They will not keep it. So it does not. So if you get your absentee ballot and it's missing a signature, you've got to call them and say, hey, I need a new one of these, and you flip-flop it out.
So
because you
what are
can't
some
turn that in.
reasons that they would deny a ballot from being counted?
If they can't tell, if it has a problem going through the machine and the machine can't read it, so then they have to go through and look by visual, and they can't tell if you like
Okay,
filled
stop
in
right
this
there.
circle. Yeah.
Stop.
Mhm.
So you're
Mhm.
telling me if I sent in a ballot and I didn't fill in every hole, they could pull it back out because it's getting rejected, and they could mark the ones that I did not mark?
Sure.
Okay, I don't like this. People, you need to go in person. I'm telling you right now,
Right.
there are a lot of problems with this.
Yeah. If you want to vote, there is a way that you can vote early, vote in person, and it won't be this problem. The absentee mail-in ballots, listen, it's not.
Now I know
It's
how they
not
keep winning in Madison County.
It's not even the whole Trump stolen election thing.
Oh.
It's not that. It's not what people don't understand is in the America's system, we do not have a single unified system. It's different from state to state to state. It's not even a whole cabal that's out here doing it. It could very well be a bunch of Russ Willises just doing stupid shit, or inept people, or just dumbasses that are being like, oh, I don't know. And, they do this, or they're lazy, or they're like, whatever. So I'm just telling you, I'm not out here. I'm not doing the whole Republican Democrat, like, don't absentee ballot. I'm just saying, for sake of mind, there's 30 days of early voting. I get you might be busy on Tuesday the 5th. You're telling me you can't find one 10-minute window to go vote over a 30-day period? You can't walk in and go in your office and vote? Now, look, there might be a lot of problems with that, and there might be problems with machines, and that's a whole nother conversation. It's still better than doing the mail-in. Have a good one, Alva.
All right, Alva.
Quit that smoking!
Yes, Alva, quit smoking. I'll give you some Shantix.
Smoke them if you got them.
All right. So I just wanted to put those out there, but I forget Miss Crooms is watching. They're going to start collecting absentee requests, and I forget what day they're going to start mailing those out. But
they're going to do what? What'd you say?
They're going to start taking absentee ballot requests.
That won't happen. That won't happen until that'll happen in October. It happens start about the second week of October.
Well, if Miss Crooms is watching, I thought she told me it was going to start earlier than that. This is Madison County.
What are you saying? Tell me what you're saying.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not understanding.
So when will they start accepting absentee ballot applications?
Absentee ballot applications, you can start. I
thought it was like on the 16th or something.
The 16th of what?
September.
Oh no.
Okay, what is it?
Let's see here. The deadline, Monday, November 4th, deadline by noon for circuit court clerk to receive absentee ballot application from confined voter or voters caring for confined person. Let's see here. Deadline by noon for a voter to vote absentee ballot in the office. Okay, let's go backwards. The 2 Saturdays before, absentee ballot in person. Thursday, October 24th. Okay. Deadline by 11:59 for the circuit court clerk to receive an absentee ballot application from an applicant. So if you want an absentee ballot, you have to have it into the clerk's office, or you have to do it online before 11:59 p.m. On Thursday, October 24th. Now, you can start I think
what you talking about, Willis? Kate, put up that picture I just sent you in Messenger. Now, understand you're talking to Madison County.
Yeah, but I get
we're the head of the cabal.
It
doesn't matter what your state records say.
Yeah.
Wait till you see what she's going to put up there.
Yeah. Okay. Right here. Yep.
The 21st, deadline for county election board to mail absentee ballots to voters who have already filed an approved application with circuit court clerk.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's all right. That's the exact same thing I'm looking for. Deadline for the county election board to mail absentee ballots. Deadline for the county election board to mail the absentee ballots to voters who have already filled out an approved application with circuit court clerk.
Thank you for being part of my world, Kristopher.
That is Saturday, September 21st. So that means they have to send the absentee ballots by that point. So they will have to send you those ballots by the 21st of September.
Okay, we can come back to that at another time.
Yeah,
you'll have to look into that.
Looking at that, and the only reason I question this, and the only reason I'm saying like what's happening here is because I know like my grandparents kept bothering me. They kept saying like, when are we going to get our ballot? When are we going to get our ballot? And I kept saying like, it's coming. And I thought it was like the month right, like butted up. I thought it was April, but it might have been May. So that might be right. Yeah, that might be right. I'm not. Yeah, I mean that's not crazy. That's only a week before absentee ballots start, so that would make sense. I mean that seems standard.
Okay, so well, let's watch this video.
Okay,
you guys can see the lecture you get from the Republican chair. I mean, this is how Ben Yale does it. It's how Richwine does it. I just cringe.
These people kill me, man.
If I need a lecture, I'll let you know. Until then, my parents raised me correctly.
Yeah, right.
Now, how is the volume on this video?
It's good.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about blowing anybody's eardrums.
Yeah, we'll test it. I don't think I've listened to it a couple times. I think it's good.
Okay.
We'll have to do a test and find out. Yeah, what people think, I guess. Let me turn it up. There's no real talking yet here. Now, real quick, for the record, so everybody knows, the woman over here is Linda Smith. She is the Republican elected clerk of Madison County. This soulless demon is Russ Willis. He is the Republican Party chair and the end-all be-all in Madison County. And this, I'm normally not a big fan of this guy, but I was today. This guy is Tim Lanane. He is a former elected official. He's an attorney. He is the Democrat representative to the election board. This is your Madison County election board. It's bizarre that Russ Willis sits on it. Since he's the chair of the party, he really shouldn't be sitting on it, but alas, there he is. And then this Lex Luthor wannabe down here is Jeff Graham, who is the county attorney. And I am convinced that man sleeps with his eyes open. So, okay, let's get rolling here. Look how packed the crowd is now. I wasn't here at this point.
It gets busier.
2024 to order. I want to read a couple statements from the election administrator's manual. We've read these before. Just like to read them occasionally to remind everyone. On page 10, it talks about election board meetings. It says all meetings of the county election board are open to the public to observe, although the board is not required to provide the opportunity for public comment. And on page 17, it says it may also be useful to remind audience members that all remarks or questions should be addressed to the chair, and that discussions or arguments between audience members will not be allowed. We appreciate your cooperation with that. First item on the agenda is the challenge of candidacy for the Anderson Community School Board position of Kenneth Hodson. I have the challenge filed by Diana Earhart on the 23rd of August, which was within the deadlines. The attachment to that challenge are facts. The following facts are known to me and lead me to believe that the individual listed above is ineligible to be a candidate for this office. On June 24th, 2027, a petition of nomination for Kenneth E. Hodson was submitted to the election board. The carrier was Robert Bookhart. Upon review, one of the signers was invalid, disqualifying the petition. The second petition was filed on the same day. The carrier was listed as Lindsey Brown. It has been brought to my attention that, in fact, this petition was carried by Robert Brookhart. Apparently, Mr. Brookhart forgot to sign the document and when contacted, was leaving for Florida. It's my understanding that Robert Brookhart asked Lindsey Brown to sign as the carrier, and Lindsey agreed. That action violates IC Code 3-8-2.5-2. And then a quote from that statute says the signature, printed name, and residence address must be made in writing by the petitioner, unquote. The ISBA School Board Candidate Election Procedures 2024, Section 2D states among the criminal offenses for campaign violations are filing a fraudulent petition of nomination. For these reasons, I contend that Kenneth Hodson is ineligible to be a candidate for the Anderson Community School Board.
Okay, let me pause this for a second. Let's just ask this. So basically what this is, first of all, I got to say, for the record, I thought today's meeting, because first off, they did not put forward an agenda. They just simply said, hey, we got an election board meeting, and they put it out very last minute. It was like very last minute.
He posted
and so
it
that
at
was shocking.
8:55 today. 8:55 a.m. today.
What?
He posted it at 8:55 a.m. today.
Posted what at 8:55 today?
The agenda outside the door.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that's amazing. So, okay, well then, and they posted the notice for the meeting 2 days ago, like
at 8:55.
Yeah.
So you had 48 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was just nuts. So, I mean, very, very last minute as they could get, save 5 minutes. So they did this, and I thought that we were going in here for your complaint. For those that are not aware, as a reminder, Katherine filed a complaint against Mr. Russ Willis, the guy that's right here. She filed a complaint against him, a very serious complaint. She filed a complaint against him for campaign finance issue, for illegal filling out his campaign finance. The law is pretty specific. You're supposed to itemize anything over $100, yada, 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 whatever. He has a political action committee called the Lincoln Club, and he did not do that. He has not done that for the last several years. When he has an event, he just puts it on there as one lump sum. We received $17,000 today. We received $14,000. We received $8,000. And that is not legal. He has to itemize it and put everybody who it's on there for. And not doing that is an issue. It is a problem. And so Katherine filed this against him. And I thought that was what was going to be today's hearing. I was shocked that it wasn't.
Because they've had almost a month to deal with it. But they keep telling me that they're waiting on the county attorney. Well, there he is.
Yeah, there he is.
So
he's praying right now.
The word on the street was if I didn't show up today, they were going to talk about it.
Sure, that's sure. Absolutely. That's the reason I went, because I was like, I knew you were going, but like last night I was like, man, just in case, because I'm going to pitch a royal bitch if something happened. But yeah, that's the deal. So we're going to have to show up to all of these between now, here, and whenever they deal with it. So they weren't dealing with Katherine's case. So that was the first shocking thing. Number two, they're talking about some school board guy. So at the end of the day, there's people that support what we do normally and support that are not fans of him. Whether you like him or don't like him or whatever, I still contend the election board has to do the right thing. They received a challenge. Do we know who challenged him?
So Diana Earhart is who challenged Mr. Hodson. What's really interesting is that she is Ken Delabastide's ex-wife.
Okay, so she is the ex-wife of the politics government reporter for the Herald Bulletin, and she just decided to challenge this guy all of a sudden. Amazing.
And at one point, I'm being told she used to be a school board member. Now, I just sent Kate. Can you put up that? I just sent Kate the kind of the complaint. Now, these are supposed to be professional people putting this together, and I don't know that you can blow this up, but this is certified by Terry Austin's husband.
Yeah, that's shocking. So for those of you that do not know, Terry Austin is the Democrat Party chairman. She's the Democrat Party chairman. She's bizarrely linked to the Republican Party chairman, Russ Willis, for whatever reason. They've got some kind of weird shit going on. But her husband, who is an attorney, notarized this.
He did notarize this, and I guess a notary only notarizes the signature. But what's so weird is her husband's an attorney, and if Kate can show the document, the date in here is for the year 2027.
Well, this all brings it back to kind of my complaint before Delaware County, when they're like leaving names and dates and signatures and shit off. Bottom line, they like to file complaints against people because people don't, dot their I's and cross their T's. But yet when it's incumbent upon them to do the right thing, they're like, well, it was an accident. It's no big deal. We can take care of that in post. We can fix that afterwards. It's no big deal. That's no big deal. There's no issue.
Yeah,
and so,
on June 24th, 2027. I'm not sure if these people are in a time warp, but that clear was not okay.
Dude, yeah, like what? Why would you write that?
And look how quickly she gets her hearing. She filed this on the 23rd of August, and she's getting a hearing within 6 days. I filed mine almost a month ago, and I'm not getting nothing.
Yeah, that's really crazy. Amelia Earhart. Well, we found her, and she's in this meeting. So they're challenging this guy, and that's kind of what's going on. And so the bottom line is what they're challenging. So what they're challenging for is, in order to run for school board, you've got to have, it's different than running for something else. It's nonpartisan, da. So why the Republican Party chairman so been out of shape about this? It's comical, because we know everything's political, and it always is and always will be. But they've got to get 10 people to sign off that they want them to run, basically. And so the question here is, he didn't have 10 people. The person didn't sign, didn't sign, whatever. There's question about the person's name. So that's the question, whether he had 10 signatures, correct?
The question is were all 10 voters registered voters? That was the question.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Now,
so
before we start this meeting,
yeah,
they figure out that they have made an error. The election board in the voters registration, that in fact they were 10. So this should have been thrown out. But no, Russ isn't going to do that. Linda's not going to do that. We're going to die on this vine because we want to make sure that the people who are in our camp have a say. And just maybe we can pull one over on the people. And here's what's amazing. Nicole had a problem with Mr. Hodson a couple of years ago, filed a complaint. She couldn't get hers heard at all. And now all of a sudden, Russ wants to come after him, and Russ doesn't even have his ducks in a row.
That's what's so interesting about this is, so a person who generally aligns themselves with our side of things has an issue with the man in question today. This person who has an issue with this person, which is Nicole commenting right there, obviously has an issue with Russ. Russ has an issue with Nicole for whatever reason. Nicole is having an issue with this man and is going against him. And Russ throws up all kinds of roadblocks and is not helpful and and is flat out lying and doing all kinds of weird shit. Now, all of a sudden, Russ has a problem with this guy, and boom, bang, pow, they're getting on it quick. They're having a hearing. Russ going to do whatever he can, but he's also like still not helping Nicole. So it's like,
and then you watch this whole thing, and Linda's like, well, it wasn't my mistake. It was their mistake. Here's a news flash, Linda Smith. It is your department.
Everything that goes wrong in elections is your
fault. And the fact that she didn't walk in here and go, our department made a mistake. We don't even need to go over this first one because they are all 10 registered voters. And how this all plays out just shows you they're all in bed with each other.
Yeah. All right. And so that's where we are. And so Russ is
doing our research on this complaint and contacting the Indiana State Election Division for their guidance and input also. The IC code of 3-8-2.5-2, which was quoted in the complaint, section 2, subsection D states, the petitioner may authorize an individual to do so on the petitioner's behalf, that is, turn in the petition. This individual acting under this subsection shall execute an affidavit of assistance for each petitioner in a form prescribed by the election division. The form must set forth the name and address of the individual providing assistance and the date the individual provided the assistance. The form must be submitted with the petition. At this time, I would invite Diana Earhart if you want to add any comments to your challenge. You're welcome to come to the podium.
This is the part I don't even understand.
I have a question.
Yeah, this was so all right.
And he gets it. Lanning gets it because he's saying the same thing.
I think is the focus of the complaint. It's really not the petitioner's signature that we're concerned about. It's the circulator of the carrier of the petition, which is a separate statute. There are a series of statutes that control that found in Indiana Code 3-6-12 is the chapter. But therein, there are specific law as to what the duties are of the carrier. And the carrier, in fact, does have to sign the petition and make the certification that's contained at the bottom of the form, which is sort of an interesting certification. Let's see, what was that? That I certified in accordance with IC 3-8-2.5. I reviewed the registration records of the petitioners, those being the people who are signing to get the person onto the ballot, and certify the above number to be registered voters of the indicated county. In the case of the school corporation, that covers, talks about all that. It covers more than one. But there has to be a certification that they are valid petitioners.
Oh, so okay, so he's kind of hard to hear, and so basically what he's saying is like he's basically saying that like the complaint's not valid, everything's okay, we should be moving on. Like basically that's where he was from word go, is he's like this complaint's not valid. So now they bring up the woman who filed the complaint, and she's going to babble on here for a little bit. Okay, we'll continue on with that.
Let me just, while it's on my mind, the section that you just read, IC 3-8-2.5-2, Part 2D, the first part of the sentence that you did not read, it says, if a petitioner with a disability is unable to write this information on the petition, the petitioner may authorize an individual to do so. To my knowledge, there was no disability that prevented the carrier to sign.
Just the disability of everybody sitting behind the dais.
If the individual acting under the subsection shall execute an affidavit of assistance for each petitioner, then a form must be set. I'm sorry, hang on. Okay, hang on. Here it is.
See, she didn't write this.
It must
Yeah,
This
what
woman
did
is
what
not-
did Russ
she
write
was
for
up
me?
to this.
Form, an affidavit. At the time they submit the
What a
petition
joke.
signatures, they must submit an affidavit.
Look at these two
giving
jokers.
permission
I
for,
didn't even see that, or I would have been yelling about that. Shut up, Mr. Lenane.
That stays.
I think what we were just talking about is that part of the code is not for the petition carrier.
Dude, and I just now realized that she's got the same issue going on as Shireen Whaley. She's got that vocal fry. I can't stand to listen to Linda.
That is for the petitioners who signed the document. That's what Mr. Lannon just asked the attorney here.
Question would be these.
Look at me stroke this paper.
Well, I'm looking at this form right here. And at the bottom of this form, it says.
Jeff's ordering pizza.
The petition/carrier certification.
Petition carrier.
We're talking. Why do these people care about this so
because
much?
In this language, it doesn't say carrier.
There's separate statutes dealing with carriers, qualifications of carriers, and carriers have to do,
Different from petition.
and they do have to sign this. They do have to sign this petition carrier certification. That's true. So.
Then is that applicable or not in this
Well,
case?
just my opinion is we got to focus in on who was the petition carrier, who was the carrier in this question, and did the person who was the carrier actually sign this?
Correct.
I think your contention is that person did not.
Correct.
Okay, here's the thing. But she never said that. How does he
right.
know that?
Yeah. He cannot. That is so wrong of him to do. He's an attorney. He knows what he just did would never work in a court of law. He basically is testifying for the witness. You can't do that. Tim knows that.
It's leading. You
Yeah,
can't lead.
he's leading the witness.
You're leading.
Yes, Tim, he wasn't running for office. Tim was a state senator, and his district bled over into Delaware County, so we had to deal with his fool ass for a while. He's not in charge, or he's not a senator anymore, is he? No, Gaskell is. Tim
Gaskell's the
Lanane's
senator.
nobody anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Lanane has been given the key to the world and probably Sagamore of the Wabash, and has rode up San Juan Hill or whatever. You know, he's been given all the accolades. He's a big special person. That's why he gets to set to the right hand seat of the Madison County father over here, Russ Willis.
But he did do the right thing today.
He did do the right thing.
I mean,
I'll
you got to
give
give
him
it to him.
credit.
He did
You know,
do the
hey,
right thing today.
even a broken clock is right twice a day. So, he did the right thing today by accident, and boy, did he make Papa Russ mad.
Oh, he did.
We're getting ready to get to that point. This is not long, folks. We're
First,
gonna get to the good.
Attachment, you probably would want to make a correction on the date.
Indeed. My apologies.
Oh yeah, we're okay. So it's real crazy that someone put their first and their last name or their middle name only, and that's a big ordeal. But I filed this in the distant future, 3 years from now, and it's my complete apologies. I will fix that right now. Please let me just. Okay, that's fixed. No big deal. No. She filed a complaint, and if her complaint is not valid because she messed up, you can't even consider it.
Because I'm telling, if it would have been you or I, they would have thrown that right out and been done with this.
Yes. If you would have wrote February, if you would have wrote, Augustine 2027 on your paperwork against Russ, it would be thrown out already.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. So this is why these rules for me or rules for thee and not for me shit is shit. So okay, here we go.
This is why I show up.
Oh, absolutely.
It should.
And this is why I show out.
On June 24th, 2027.
That should be 2024, obviously.
Obviously.
It's not obvious.
And in your first, in the paragraph that begins June 24th, 2027, you state upon review.
Like, I get making the mistake once, but why make the mistake like throughout the entire file? That's insane.
No, this right here shows you this was a hack job.
Sure.
This was a witch hunt.
They're
I
like
mean, they
copy
showed
and
their
pasting.
cards. They showed
Yeah.
their cards.
Absolutely. And so, like, I'm going to tell you, I don't know who this guy is. I don't care anything about him. I don't care if he's on the school board or not on the school board. You know, Nicole's got some kind of issue with him. I still really don't even know what that is. I don't wish anything bad for her. I wish her good luck and all that. But I don't care about this guy one way or another, good, bad, whatever. But I just don't like that they are so evil. And it's just always something. And so I'm happy today that this guy overcome this just because it's like, you know, up on you, you know, that this is good. But for all those people watching, you notice Russ isn't his normal uppity self. He seems like he's a little, he's been, Catherine's whipped him down a little bit and whipped him into some shape a little bit here. So he doesn't seem like he's having a fun time.
Well,
we don't
because
hear
he's
him mention.
Holy cow, people showed up.
Yeah, right. Well, we don't hear him mention anything about the Russ Willis statute today. So, okay, here we go.
One of the signatures was invalid, disqualifying the petition. What did you mean by that?
That was a petition submitted on that day, signed by.
Basically, Karen, what would have disqualified them was if the voter wasn't a voter in the area, or like they didn't have 10 signatures on the thing. If they would have only had 8 signatures or 9 signatures, there would have been several things that could have disqualified the situation. So that's that.
By Robert Bookhart, and one of the 10 signatures was deemed invalid. I don't know if that wasn't a registered voter, if that person did not live in the district. There's a notation on the.
Exactly, I saw that, and I did check, and she was a registered voter. So.
Look, did you see her look at Russ? Did you catch that?
No.
Look,
Which
watch
one,
this.
Linda?
What?
Linda or the?
No. Linda is looking at this lady. This lady, Amelia Earhart and Linda, Amelia Earhart and Linda Airhead over here are talking to each other. And so they're looking at each other and talking. And when she's like, well, by the way, one of the voters isn't even valid, and that's marked on here. And when Linda said, watch this, I took it back. You're going to see Linda say, well, I checked and she is valid. Earhart or whatever looks over at Russ Willis. Watch this.
Invalid. I don't know if that wasn't
eye to eye
voter, if that person did not live in the district. There's a notation on the.
Exactly, I saw that, and I did check, and she was a registered voter.
Look,
so
see it? Did you catch it?
No, I did now, but this is what I'm telling. And she puts her hands up like, this woman was put up to this.
Yeah.
And this is a Democrat. This is a Republican. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I didn't even know what I'm doing here.
This is a complete circus show. He needs to resign. Linda needs to be done if she can't hold the people accountable. I don't know what else to say. And I know that people have had their differences with Tim, but I'm telling you right now, he did it today. He wasn't having it.
Tim
He
did
wasn't
the right
having
thing.
it.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe it might be because look, I'm being facetious. We're not beating Russ into compliance. Russ is just not having fun because he knows the gig's up. He's about out of track. However, while I'm not a big fan of Tim Linnane, I don't think that he's just absolutely evil. I think that he will, he might buy into the whole, these are my friends, But if he's shown enough that, man, there is problem after problem, and guess what? The people aren't going away on this one. He doesn't want to go down with this ship.
Right.
So he
when
might.
the rubber meets the road,
Yeah.
he's picking up the right thing. And you know what? I've never had a problem with Terry Austin, but after today, I got a problem with Terry Austin.
Yeah, right. What the hell?
After today, I got a problem with Terry Austin.
It really started for me when she sat in for Russ a couple weeks ago, and that was confusing. But now today, now that I know that they are the absolute, like, they share an office, I think, I'm very confused. Voters in Madison County, party members in Madison County should really be concerned about what's going on.
I'm confused. I'm crystal clear what's going on now.
They've
After
got
today's show, I'm crystal clear.
They've got some kind of weird deal going on.
That's beyond my realm.
Beyond my realm.
She's the one filing the petition.
Yeah. And she brought it up. What do you mean it's beyond your realm? You just brought it up. How do you, a regular citizen, know if another person is not a valid voter or not? Someone had to have given you that information.
And quite honestly, clearly you can see we can't get the information from Lloyd Brown.
Did you request this? If so, maybe she can just give Nicole and I the information.
Right?
I assume that would have to go back to the clerk's office.
Nicole needs to reach out to this lady. Nicole, you need to reach out to this lady and be like, look, I don't like this Hodgson either. Give me what you've got on him.
Office for verification. I'm the clerk. Well,
it's a sad day when your people don't know you're the clerk.
You are the clerk. Oh my God, I did not know.
So now she wants the glory in it, but when push comes to shove, well, I'm not the clerk over that part.
Look how proud she is of herself. That would have been the most embarrassing. That would have been absolutely embarrassing.
Clearly, this lady didn't vote for you, Linda.
Yeah, right.
So that's beyond my realm. So that's
But
your first. That's the first.
She's challenging.
Right. I assume that would have to go back to the clerk's office for verification. I'm the clerk. Well, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Okay,
nice.
Stop it right there.
Yeah.
So, what did Linda just say? This was a voter registration confirmation. Was this a registered voter? Right?
Yes.
Cindy Ponchett asked about cleaning the voters' rolls, doing all that stuff. Linda put it off on Russ Willis and Terry Austin. But now today, she's over voters registration and she's the clerk. I mean, this whole meeting did nothing more but show everybody's hands. And this is what I said at the beginning. These people can't get out of their own way.
Heather Bailey, are you watching?
I watched her.
Please, for the love of God, start applying other jobs. Go find yourself another job and live a nice, happy life.
This ship is on fire.
She seems like a lovely person. Go get a normal job in the private sector away from this chaos and have a wonderful life. You are a wonderful person. You don't seem like you fit in with this nonsense. And
Devin Scroggins is the same way. And after we have a changing of the guards, come back.
Yeah. Right.
Right now,
or step up and run, I guess.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing. So on that petition.
So may I ask then who put that notation on there?
That would be someone in voter registration. Okay.
Registered. Correct address.
It was the correct address.
Whoops, Russ lost out on that one. He just keeps losing today.
Here's the thing. Russ put up with this. So now he's going, well, maybe it was this and maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Russ is the one that said this person wasn't registered.
Yeah, right.
This is all Russ.
Right.
Terry Austin right here.
Right. Well, yeah.
That there were 10 signatures on the second petition. Well, voter registration.
Now, while folks, because you're going to hear me yell something here in a little bit. I had literally just walked in about this point. And while it is hard for us to hear on this video what they're doing currently, we could hear their communication right now within the room. So, yeah, while I agree, they need to pull the mics closer to their mouth. They need to get on the record more. Absolutely, I agree. you could hear everything that was going on in the room. Just keep that point in the back of your mind.
Well, it comes to my office to be received, and that's when we file it. Okay. So on the complaint, on her complaint, it brings that up. Upon review, one of the signatures was invalid, disqualifying the petition. So there we have it. That opens us up to make that determination. Is that true? So when I took a look, when one of my deputies took a look.
Did he just get out of the way so she could see something on his computer?
No, he got out of the way because he knows that this is not going the Russ Willis way. He's just backing up going, all right, another show here, and we're not going to win this battle.
Okay.
That person is in fact registered to vote. Yes. Now the little notations on her name, and then where they subtracted the number from 10 signatures to 9, said, I believe, SD and NA. And you would have to ask the the voter registration official who put those initials or those notations on there, what that means.
Okay, and those folks are here, correct?
Yeah, come to the podium.
We'll have the information about it. Because if, maybe I'm jumping too far ahead, but if in fact there were 10 valid signatures on there, 10 is all you need, right? To get a petition, then the rest of this complaint is moved. So let's hear from Mr. Chairman, is that all right? We hear from the registration folks.
Yes, so Dr. Scroggins, board member for voter registration, and Lloyd Brown, one of our first deputies. So after reviewing that, of course, we go through tons of signatures, so we don't remember exactly what we were going through. But after looking at it again, a couple of days ago, we realized that her signature, she always signs with first name and middle name and last name. And on that one, she had only signed with middle name. And looking back at all of her old voter registration applications, again, she always used first name. So we did not accept it based on the signature, because we do have to not only verify they're a registered voter, make sure they live at the residence that they wrote down on the paper, but also deem the signature as acceptable.
The only thing that I would say about that is
all right, this is very important. So he was like, look, we had this. There was a little bit of question about the signature, and so we have to deem if it's acceptable or not. Now, listen what the clerk reads. This is very important, and this is the crux of the case.
Code 3562, resolution of reasonable doubt in favor of registered voter. The county voter registration office, in a case where the county voter registration office is uncertain whether a signature has been affixed by a registered voter.
No.
A
Yeah, all right,
reasonable doubt must be resolved in favor of the registered voter, and the signature must be certified as valid.
So basically what she says there is, if they get something that comes into their office that is questionable, and they're looking and they're having a dispute, they're trying to determine what the deal is, that at the end of the day, you know, if they don't have, if they don't have like clear cut information that something's wrong, they have to err on the side of allowing the person to become a registered voter. So there's pros and cons to that. It means, they're erring on the side of the voter. Now some people would maybe say, well, that would allow for, people who shouldn't be registered to be registered. But, I think that this is a good thing in this specific case, because they had a question, and while they were trying to do whatever they could to figure out a way to kick this guy out of the game, they were like, they were tasked by the Indiana law to give him the benefit of the doubt, in other words.
And I just want to share with you that they are very lucky that they took this.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to go to that podium.
Yeah.
And I would have taken the roof off of the building
Yeah.
Because Todd Culp signs his name Richard Todd Culp, and he ran as Todd Culp, and Ricky Gardner signs his name Ricky Gardner, but he goes by Rick Gardner, and they accept those signatures. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, if you even let this be a problem, I'm going to bring those two up right here, right now, because this is a big problem.
Yeah, right. That's hilarious. Okay, so now this is where the wheels start to come off and Russ starts to get mad. And there's a couple things that happen that I really have issue with.
And here's the thing. Linda won't even look at Russ anymore.
Yeah, right.
She's looking forward.
Yeah.
You're checking is to see if the person is a registered voter.
No, we're checking the signature also.
Now, the purple guy, the guy in the purple is Devin. And the guy in the blue, Sergeant Slaughter over there, that's Larry. That's the guy that I had the problem with. That's Larry Brown, Lloyd Brown. He's the retired cop, firefighter, shirt man. He's the guy that's friends with Russ, and he's going to do and say everything he can and make it seem like they've got a tough job. And he's got 3 other detectives working around, working in shifts to try to figure out if this is real or not.
Okay, so if there was a doubt, then it falls to, and the signature must be certified as valid. They just certified it as valid?
I don't believe it's the same person.
I don't believe it's the same person. I don't. Now listen to what Devin says.
Because
you don't believe
as stated in all their previous documents, they signed first name, middle name.
I don't believe it's the same person because in all their previous documents they've signed Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and this time they signed Kristopher Bilbrey, or this time they signed H, whatever. I don't know why people would do that. I've done dumb shit like that. My dad was H. Dwayne Bilbrey. He went by Dwayne Bilbrey. Professionally, he signed H. Dwayne Bilbrey. So different things happen. I don't know. Maybe she was in a hurry. Maybe something was going on. Maybe the kids were yelling. Who knows what was happening? But the question is, okay, she didn't use the same name. Does it look like all of the rest of the that's the very first thing I was saying. I was sitting in the back going, does it? And the other thing I was saying is, it's not like they couldn't have brought copies of all of this down. They could easily have brought down copies of all of the signatures and shown the board, shown the audience, and let everybody be like, oh yeah. And the reason they didn't do that is because the things match.
Well, and the other reason why is because Lloyd needs to go get his money back from the university because they did a very poor job with his MBA.
Well, I don't know anything about an MBA, but if this dude was a cop, he's a very piss poor investigator.
That's what I'm saying.
We're taking him to task on all aspects of this.
So you're saying somebody forged it?
How many documents we're looking at?
I will say, I believe 2 or 3 on hers.
So they're only comparing. They're comparing this with 2 or 3 other signatures.
Hey, here's a news flash. How about picking up the phone and asking the lady if she did it?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
Make some effort there.
Yeah. Hey, Rebecca, someone's calling you. You see it on her screen? All right, here we go.
That would require effort, Catherine.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and to do the right thing, to do some due diligence.
Yeah, right. Well, listen to what you heard what the guy said here. I don't believe they're the same person. Listen to what Purple Shirt says.
After looking at middle name and last name, I would say the signature, at least those 2 names seem relatively matching. I don't know if you would agree or
They
not.
seem matching.
We also have to have.
Yeah, well, Lloyd's not going to agree with that.
That's right. I think it's immaterial if I think they match or not.
Okay, if it's immaterial,
I think it's
then why did you bring it up?
immaterial.
Then why did you bring it up? It makes you make it look like Lindsey Brown and Bookie Bookhart are doing fraudulent things. Shame on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait
you're
a
implying
minute.
stuff here, Lloyd.
Because he said it. He said a minute ago, I don't think they match.
Yeah.
Then Devin here says, I think they match. To which he says then he says it's immaterial if they match.
Then don't bring it up.
This guy emailed me today because of my record request, so I've got his email now. So I'm gonna play with him.
Yeah, I mean, Devin he's like Heather Bailey. Those two are very good.
Yeah,
people,
Devin, go get another job.
but they're gonna get caught up in this nonsense.
I think you about said it. Here we go.
Did you invalidate the signature because we didn't put one of the names?
No.
First name, is that what I heard you say? Or did
Yeah.
you validate it?
Yeah, it just goes,
Yes.
Okay,
every other
it
time it's
didn't
signed.
invalidate
I don't
it.
think that would invalidate it.
Didn't look the same.
I think they look the same, so I didn't validate it for that, like the names that are on there.
Okay.
Reasonable.
And then we have to have two, like on our certifications, we're both signing to certify those signatures.
Bilbrey's here. I can hear him
One of
clearing
us
his throat in the
doesn't
back.
agree, We have to try to come to a consensus.
We'll just disagree on that portion.
Look at him like looking at Russ, and Russ is trying to figure out like, all right, now what?
Well, and he's expecting Jeff to come save him, and Jeff's like,
Yeah, he looks
I'm
over
in
Jeff.
agreement with Tim. This is a shit show
Yeah. Jeff's like, I've been sleeping.
because this is ridiculous.
Code guides us on what to do on situations of reasonable doubt.
Thank you, John.
Here it
Here
comes.
goes Chris.
On this testimony we just had, I'm going to move to deny.
Yep.
What did you want to hear?
So he says, so I think I'm going to make a motion to deny the challenge. And then Russ goes into what about blah, blah, blah. Now, up until this point, even though it's quiet for us here live, we could still hear them talking in the room. As soon as I play this again, they're going to start going into whisper mode, and we could then no longer hear them in the room. They were purposefully whispering, and I wanted to play today, so I wasn't okay with that.
Yes, I wouldn't speak.
Russ is whispering to him. He's
He's rolling in your favor.
I'm okay.
So when I said he's okay, I'm telling Mr. Hudson, don't get up there. They're wanting. I'm like, no, they're ruling in his favor. Don't even muddy this water.
Yeah. Just let it roll, because they're Here we go.
Yeah, don't even go.
This is an open meeting. Could you speak so we can all hear you?
Okay.
Mics are on.
Yeah, but you need to speak loud enough. The Public Access Council has been very clear about that.
Yeah, we can't
Speak
hear.
loud enough we can all hear you, or this is not an open meeting.
Did you want to make?
And see how Russ ignores it and keeps going.
And he was like, the mics are on, but to Lenane's credit, he then spoke up and he was like, do you want to make a comment? Which we could then all hear again. And then at that point, Russ turns around and Russ is like, this is when Cindy said earlier, like he bowed to me. This is when I defeated Russ today, because they start speaking and then they speak up from this point forward.
It is hard to hear.
The 3-8-2.5-2 section that I read, it does talk about the petitioner, who would be the person running for school board.
No.
May authorize an individual to deliver or carry the petition. And it says that the individual acting under this subsection shall execute an affidavit of assistance for such petitioner in a form prescribed by the election division. The form must be set forth the name and address of the individual providing the assistance and the date the individual provided the assistance. The form must be submitted with the petition. There was no form submitted with the petition.
And you've got some sort of an email received from the co-general counsel for the Indian election division.
And that was it.
But this again, this is directed to a petitioner
Yeah, it's not talking about the issue. You can see Jeff is shaking his head yes.
The carrier is a separate person who's circulating the petition. If you look at the definition of what a petition carrier is in the code, it's just someone who circulates the petition. And so that's the focus of that in this whole section that the person, the co-counsel was talking about.
I agree.
What we're talking about is a petition, is the carrier, and the carrier, you know, and besides that, even if the particular petition which was in question is struck down, there's another petition which does have, as we now determined, 10 valid signatures on it.
So
There's no challenge to that petition. There's no challenge as to
there we go.
that petition. So there's sufficient numbers of
valid.
signatures on that petition. It's not even really a matter of a challenge to force, but it does exist. And therefore, 10 is all you need. And so
It flies.
it's a valid petition, and the nomination petition stands, in my opinion. So I really don't know what else we
Thank
need
you.
to consider. I
Thank you,
mean, I
Dan.
guess we can consider other things if you want, but to me, it's a moot point, because in spite of the challenged petition, set on side, you don't even have to rule on it. There's a valid petition with 10 signatures on it, as it turns out, by virtue of the testimony of the voter registration office personnel, and that's good enough. That's good enough for me.
Thank you.
My motion is to deny the challenge.
Now this is very important. He makes a motion to deny the challenge.
Thank you.
And he's got a second.
She then makes a second. He just seconded it.
And then they're interrupted in the middle of this vote. That is
Yeah.
wrong.
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a vote on the thing, and it
Yes.
should not have been interrupted.
Yes.
Well, have they taken a vote yet first?
So here's my question. My name's Terry Austin.
And here's the thing. They didn't be like, hey, Terry, we're not allowing public comment, or, we didn't call you up here. You need to go sit down. This is, again, rules for thee and not for me. They, I was waiting. I was back there waiting when you stood up at the podium, and if they said something about you, I was going to come unglued, because I was going to be like, you didn't do that to Terry
and my
Austin.
big thing is, there's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Number two, once she gets up here and you listen to her, you now understand this was her petition.
Yes.
She shows her cards that she's the one that was behind this whole thing.
Yeah. And which means she's behind it, and he helped her.
Yep.
And it's like, why is that happening?
1030 West Riverview Drive. My question is this. I had a chance to examine the petitions when questions about this surfaced. The petition with the 9 or 10, the individual listed does not live in the Anderson Community Schools District. They live at 805 Belzer Drive, which is in Lafayette 3. I know because I represented that area for 10 years. So it's out of the school district. Does the law require, that's my question, and you all will have to answer that. Does the law require that the petitioner live in the school district for which they are nominating a candidate to run?
Absolutely.
That is the other question that you have to deal with then.
I was thinking I saw some authority that the petition carrier could even be from out of state or something. Am I wrong about that?
We're talking about the person who signed the petition. That's what she's questioning.
So one of the people who signed.
805 Belzer Drive is in Lafayette Township 3, which is Franklin.
Now, she's not answering the question he just asked.
That's not what the challenge is,
I
though.
have a question.
Yeah.
Statement.
State the name, sir.
Lindsey Brown, Anderson, Indiana. Now, even if that is true, that is not on the petition, and the petition
That's
was
right.
actually signed and authored and notarized by Terry Austin's husband on the date.
So yeah, this is all her deal. Her husband signs it. He dates it. He doesn't look at the fact that the date is 3 years into the future. He's like, oh, that's okay. That makes normal. And the thing is, the deadline's passed. So this guy's right on point.
That occurred, that was before the date that had
So
to be
she
a,
tried, so partway through
an
the
appeal had to be
proceedings to
process.
change the
We're past
reason
that date,
for the
and that
challenge.
actually is in
No,
Yeah,
line.
not
in the
even
middle of
partway
the
through
vote.
it. In the middle of the vote at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, at the end, but I mean, we're still in the process.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's trying to change. Oh, no. It's not because it's not a good signature. It's because she doesn't live there.
Now, yeah, but that wasn't on the initial, and so
And you can't change
well,
it.
here's what you need to understand. There are 3 people in this race for this seat. Okay. Terry is friends with the woman in this race, and they want it to go to a 2-person race.
Okay. I wondered why anybody
That's what's
even
behind
cared about this.
Yeah.
This is like a guy is running for dog catcher of a community that only has 2 cats, and it's like,
Right.
why does anybody care about this?
Guys even review or challenge
Yes.
because it had to be in by a certain date, and that is legal. So the challenge, so that challenge is an invalid challenge.
Yep.
So right now, we should actually be thanking Mr. Hassan for his services for running for a school board, and this should be adjourned on this subject. Thank you.
Yep.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, other members? Call for the question.
You're gonna have to restate your motion, please.
Why?
Yeah.
What are I mean, she shouldn't have a driver's license. Let me tell you. She's not capable of handling machinery or functioning in public. I'm telling you, something is wrong with her.
Second. I think I already did that.
Any other discussion among the members? All those in favor of the motion, which is to deny the challenge, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, aye.
See, he did vote.
Okay.
Passed. Challenge has been denied.
I was like, no, clap, people.
One other item on the agenda today is discussion and approval of the amendment.
Okay, so then I was like, okay, well, now they're going to talk about Catherine's thing. But they didn't. The next thing is they're talking about a discussion of amending the. Listen to this for a second, Kate. Now we're not going to listen to the whole thing. I just want you guys to listen to this.
Well, here's my biggest problem with this.
Yeah.
If you do listen to the whole thing, you begin to see that Linda, Terry Austin, and Russ Willis are now kind of pushing the voting around. So
Yeah.
Zion Baptist is one of the greatest places for voting for our, less fortunate people. That they're closing that down, and they're not offering them to be open on Saturdays, but they're pushing out down in Pendleton. We want them to be open. Up in Alexandria, we want them to be. Well, you're not including all racial parties.
Yeah.
This is almost like they're fixing the race on access to vote. That area in Zion Baptist, it's right in the heart. The weekend is when people can bring the elderly to vote. People
Mhm.
can come to vote. They can walk to that area to vote if they're not at work. And that's the one place Linda's not offering that. And then Linda's penalizing the church because they had a funeral. It's not like they can plan when people are going to die, Linda. Perhaps
Yeah.
you should pick a different area within the church that would not be affected.
That was so stupid. Yeah.
It's not like it was a wedding and planned.
Yeah, we'll listen to enough of this because I've got some points I want to say. So listen to this for a minute.
I've not seen.
First of all, Lenane's like, I don't really want to talk about this because I didn't see an agenda. This wasn't on the agenda, and I'm not prepared to talk about this. I want to be more informed. And Russ is like, but I don't have, we don't need to be. I mean, it just comes out of my ass, so we can talk about whatever we want
and
whenever.
Then, as they go on, Russ is like, well, you just gave this to me 5 minutes before the meeting. I mean, they don't even listen to themselves.
So I had asked for that to be on the agenda as discussion.
Just as a discussion.
Yes, because our vote centers are already in place.
I remember that. I sent back an email. We said that, say for discussion, okay, do not.
That's fine. So we have the 30 vote centers that are in our vote center plan, the original plan. We were notified by Franklin LaPel, because of the tornado situation, they would not be able to be a vote center for us. So we visited a couple of other places that were recommended. One volunteered that we could stand in for Franklin LaPel in this situation. Perkinsville Community Church was one.
Does Todd Kolb even work in the auditor's office?
Was the other.
No.
And that is, I thought that I gave that to you, like a list. Even today, you didn't get it.
So now you have a board that's meeting and they don't even have their own agenda.
Yeah.
They don't have information. It's unbelievable.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You should have one in the packet. She had discussions with members of the board of the Impact Center, and they are willing to be a vote center for us on election day. So my recommendation to the board is that we choose Lone Oak Wesleyan Church to stand in for Franklin LaPel Schools, and that we remove Northview Church and add Impact Center to our vote center list.
And that's reflected in the list.
It is.
So you've got my name and address. So my thought is,
So here's the big question. There's 5 or 6 places.
I don't
Catherine,
know.
there's 5 places that they're going to offer early voting for the 2 Saturdays before the election. Okay, there's 2 Saturdays before November 5th that early voting happens for
sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 5. Sometimes,
well, right.
I mean, that's what, when you ask me that, I
Sure.
don't know. I'm still confused after listening to these guys, and they're
Right.
confused.
Well, but the point of the matter is what Linda was saying today was there's 5 that's going to be this election. The problem is all 5 of them are available for the Saturday right before the election, and 3 of the 5 are available the first Saturday, but 2 of these places, we don't know if they're going to be available because they didn't really like doing it back in the in May,
because we didn't even ask them.
Yeah, right.
Then she comes out and says, well, we didn't really even ask them.
Right. Number one, they're making this way harder.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, you look at your map, you find out where the voting centers can go, where the most amount of people have access to it by a boat, plane, or a car, walking on a horse, bicycle, Uber, whatever. You make sure people can get to it, and you ask and make sure that these people can be there and be available the first Tuesday after the first Monday in May, and the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, as well as the last 2 Saturdays before Election Day in May, and the last 2 Saturdays before the Election Day in November. And then if you're going to have any other of them be satellite vote places during the week, like the county building often is, then you can ask them that too. And you make a deal with them, you pay them a little bit of money for their trouble, and you get a contract with them. So it's a signed deal. It's done. Boom, bang, pow. And then when you're dealing with a church or whatever, and you've got a funeral, you're all adults. You make other arrangements. You figure shit out. It's doable. You don't just shut down the election because of it.
And let me explain something to you. This right here of what you're getting ready to watch is Operation Chaos.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The fact that they want to continue to say, oh, Madison County is an open vote center. Well, that's great. Madison County is an open vote center. But you know what? Nobody knows what's open. Nobody knows what's closed. Nobody can plan what they're doing. You know why? Because these guys can't even get an agenda together. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. And it should never be happening like this. Every one of them admits, I don't know where your agenda is. I didn't get that email. Where's this at? They're clearly all here. This is Operation Chaos. And this is why elections are not fair in Madison County. You got a clerk who is completely clueless.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
no longer a show. She is no longer an actress. She has been through these elections. She's been in many seats in prior. Enough. You clearly are incompetent to do your job. There are two types of people. Those are who are unwilling and those who are unable. Okay? She clearly is unable to do this job.
Yes. Very, very much so. Very much so. She seemed just petrified by the thought of having to talk to people.
I really appreciate Linda making this suggestion. We're not changing any of the early vote locations. We're simply changing one location to a more centrally located
It's not true.
location for election day only. And that is the Impact Center. It has plenty of parking. It's highly visible. I think it'll draw a lot of cross traffic, and it makes sense to have it in lieu of what was the Northview, is it Northview Church of God? Or Northview Church, which is at the old Mounds Mall cinema, renovated cinema. And, you know, it's back off there that you got 3-4 streets that converge there. It's confusing for people. It's a low number that actually have voted there on election day in the past. I think this one will create a more open opportunity personally. There's no other changes on that list, my understanding, just Lone Oak, which is a good location for Jackson Township, which is the largest precinct in the county. Yes. Any other changes?
The other change would be, since we're in a presidential year, the locations that we have as satellites, there are, I believe are 7 of them.
7.
5 have agreed to give us the 2 preceding Saturdays before election day. So, and we have, now I don't have my list, but can I see that, please?
Why would
So
you
I
not?
don't have my list.
Yeah.
There's 5 or
Just kind of
7.
help reduce any possibility of lines. We're trying to
How would she know to bring the list without an agenda?
Yeah, right.
Our satellite locations are Alexandria, Madison County 4-H building, Henderson Zion Baptist, Crossroads Global Methodist Church on Scatterfield, Madison Park Church, UAW Local 1963, Elwood Municipal Building, and Pendleton Community Public Library.
Okay.
So the 5 that have agreed to add a Saturday, which would be October the 26th, are Alexandria, Crossroads, UAW, Elwood, and Pendleton Community Library. So that's the only other change. is
And the 2
additional
that have
Saturday.
not agreed to an additional
I
Saturday.
did not ask them.
Why?
Let me just offer
Exactly.
this.
How can we?
Situation.
This is
Confusing.
election fixing. This is election tampering. This right here, you're not asking the heart of the city. You're not going to Zion Baptist. What makes it more classic is that one of the deacons, Fred Rees, is from Zion Baptist, and he
Yes.
is sitting in
He's
the
in the
audience.
meeting. Yeah.
Voters. When we say we have early voting and these are our locations, we should have consistency across the board. And I think we should ask the other 2 locations, because when you start putting all this print and exceptions and everything, it just leads to confusion on the part. I mean, still vote centers are
Not a fair
relatively
process.
new in Madison County. People are still learning. I still get questions. What's my precinct and where do I vote? So you have to explain to them the whole vote center concept and everything. So my suggestion would be that we have consistency on the early vote, 2 extra Saturdays at all locations, flat across the board.
That makes sense. I don't know why it seems so crazy.
Zion Baptist
And it's
Church
voter
had
suppression.
an issue.
Yeah. But
This
see,
Operation Chaos is voter
for that
suppression.
chaos, you need both sides, and that's they're playing it well.
The last election, okay, because they had a funeral dinner that came up.
They had a funeral dinner back in May. You reckon they're still having that same funeral dinner?
And then and you're asking them to give up another Saturday.
You're asking them to give up another Saturday in November.
Well, that's their choice. Who is Linda to make that decision?
I
Yeah.
can ask them, but these are satellite locations.
When you agree to be a satellite location, you should understand that your obligation is to provide whatever is
Yeah, right.
required by the law.
Yes.
And so, yes, I think we should ask them. We don't know that they have not booked or have booked the rooms, the family resource room or whatever. And I understand the situation you were talking about in the spring.
Yeah, funerals, people dying, everything going
The
on.
3 of those elections are different, and sometimes you have to amend.
And then she's talking about
Across-
how there's difference in elections between municipal and state and presidential.
Listen, There should never be a difference. Are
No.
you trustworthy? Are you doing the right thing? I don't know, Linda. Will we have another power outage with this election?
Yeah,
or will
right.
you have the battery backups in the machines?
Right.
And we members pass this with the caveat that we make those two contacts. And based on the outcome of that, move forward with 5 or 7 of the extra Saturdays. I know we got deadlines, we have to meet and state to submit this stuff. I'm afraid we're gonna get jammed up, so to speak. Would that be?
We have the lowest turnout of voters. We're going to get jammed up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. It's gonna be wild.
The 2 locations.
And if it works out, we'll do it. If they don't, then we just move forward with 5. Is that?
Here comes Catherine with like a little bit of common sense. It was almost too much common sense. I'll be
Well,
honest.
they don't post. And I didn't call her out, but I was going to be like, no, you don't, because I'm
Yeah,
at
right.
those sites.
Yeah. You know what? It needs to be guerrilla done. If it comes up and something is closed and they don't do that, we need to go do it.
Oh, let me tell you something. If she thinks I'm not going to go visit those sites,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
getting a
Yeah.
Katherine Callahan with Appel.
We'll talk about
If
that
you,
later.
if 2 of them can't be open, can you put a sign up there telling where the nearest voting location is so that they show up and they're confused and they don't have access? Then they can direct them to the nearest one that's close.
I would say if two of them can't be open, they better be open. There's not an option. You agreed this needs to be done. All 7 need to be open, period.
Yeah,
But
just
if there's an issue, yeah, they need to do this. This is common sense.
to be,
You know what they can do is they can stand Russ Willis out there all day and he can be like pointing them down there.
right?
consider it to the people. So we haven't seen that on Saturday, so I would just ask that.
At this time, I would accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Him and Catherine got up once. I don't want to hear from her again.
Sharif?
No comment. Fred Reese.
Why did he say no comment? Why did you hear that? I wondered what he did. So this happens. So watch.
At this time, I would accept the motion to adjourn.
How rude. We're the stakeholders. We are the stakeholders.
Oh, I think he's not commenting on me when I said we're the stakeholders. We should be able to speak.
Yeah, but that's weird.
That's 9th Street. About the Andrew Zion Family Life Center, we will accommodate that.
So as she was saying,
Right there.
he's like, we'll be there. So there's one of them. So it's already done. So
the
see how
fact
easy that was?
this just showed voter suppression.
Yeah.
Linda she is the judge and she is the jury. Well,
And
we're
the
not going to ask
executioner.
them if they want to be open. We're just going to decide and assume that, well, it's another Saturday. They don't want to be open. You know, this is their area. Miss Crooms, Fred Reese. This is a huge Democrat area that Zion serves. And for Linda to make the decision without giving anybody the opportunity to deny it, shame on her.
Yeah, that's no good. That's gross.
See, you gave them an option.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I bet that district would be one that would be voting heavy for Marquette.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marquest. Yeah, Marquest. That's what I'm saying.
Marquette, sorry, Marquette.
This is a big area. It's unbelievable. And that's what I'm saying. This whole meeting shows us just exactly how corrupt this entire thing is in Madison County.
Yeah.
It's in every department. The cancer is everywhere.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And so Russ made a motion to adjourn, but they hadn't called it yet. And Nicole gets up here and she's like, "Nah, I'm gonna slide in here real quick before you guys run out of here." And she lets them have it just one last. Here's one more for the road.
Kenneth Hobson,
The case is closed.
you did not allow for a majority vote in 2022 and 2023 for my complaint, and you have violated my open door law. Nicole Kapuscinski, 3228 Spring Hill Road.
We did take
I've looked at the video footage. I've looked at it. You told Linda that it had been taken care of in 2022. There is no video evidence that you allowed to vote.
It's in the minutes.
No.
I already got a copy of the minutes. I've been really doing a lot of research in the last couple of weeks since I realized that nobody likes to listen to the combat veteran. And there's a couple things, because I've been requesting information for nearly 2 years, and you've stopped me from being able to get that. But the Indiana Code 3-9-4-5 says that I was supposed, once I requested voting history for Kenneth Hodgson, that I should have got that information within 24 to 48 hours. And I'm still waiting on a copy of that, and I've turned that into the state of Indiana. Now, I found on the indiana.gov website, the county election board operations, and it says,
This is not on the agenda. This is part of what we're here.
I was just going to make a comment.
This is one thing that now it makes me mad about Tim. See, it's things like this that they go up and they go down. It's like, man, you've been doing so well today. Listen, I know it's scary for them to see a room full of people here, but there's not a line behind her. Let her talk for 3 minutes. Let her talk for 5 minutes. What is it going to do? Like her, don't like her, agree with her, don't agree with her, do nothing if you want. You know, a lot of the time people just want to feel, not even anything happen. They want to feel like they're being heard. And if any of these idiots,
they want to be heard without an hourglass.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That's exactly correct. That is one.
And she deserves to be
correct.
heard.
Yeah, right.
She's fought
Absolutely.
for our country.
Yep.
They can at least give her the opportunity to hear her.
Yep. And you know, when she says things like she says, like no one wants to hear a combat veteran or whatever, I guarantee you, like they're rolling their eyes and things like that and doing that stuff, which is gross. But I mean, like, look, hey, good for you. Say it and make it, rub their face in it, let them know. But it's just that kind of behavior that they get. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's the thing. They just, you know, I don't know.
She has the right to be heard.
Yeah.
For the Indiana codes.
And they refuse, they do not want, and they're like, we are not going to listen to you.
Yeah. They just shut her down. And shame on the clerk.
Yeah.
Say my piece on any of it. Election crimes have been committed. Indiana Code 3-14-1, campaign violations and fraudulent petition of nomination, which I have not been allowed to get a copy of any of that. And I will stand down and I will file my complaints with the state of Indiana. And I filed one on YouTube for violating my open door law violation of rights, constitutional rights, which I don't seem to have any. I'm the only one who's willing to take a bullet for all of you.
That's true.
I love it.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
She has the right to be heard.
Motion carried.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. She should be given the right to be heard. Everybody deserves to be heard. Everyone deserves to be heard.
And, you know, shame on the news reporter who acts like it's no big deal and jumps right up there. I mean,
right.
It's a very sad situation.
Yeah. That's that. So that's what occurred in Madison County today. You know, they heard basically two things that could have, both of them. The first one didn't need to happen, period. The second one could have been talked about like during an email the clerk didn't even need to bring that up. Just call all 7 places, you idiot.
Well, now you're aware that we
knob.
have voter suppression in Madison County. We have gone back to the 1950s or the 1960s? I don't know how far back Linda has now taken us. Next thing you know, we won't even have the women voting in Madison County.
Yeah. Hey, women and blacks, yo.
I mean, it's just unbelievable that Linda, you know, has taken us this far back. Yeah. And shame on us, the people, that we've allowed Russ to take us this far back.
Yeah.
That's what's so awful about it. And I'm just, you know, I just don't even know what to say anymore, except for to continue to point out. And, you know, these people who say, Katherine, you're angry. Katherine, you're crazy. Katherine, Katherine is just Dr. Obvious.
Yeah, right.
I just say what everybody else is thinking, and it's time for everybody else to see the shenanigans.
Yeah. Where is, I don't know.
I mean, it was at point blank when you have Mr. Reese in the audience who walks up there, doesn't have to give it a second thought. Zion Baptist be happy to be open.
Okay.
And that's true with Nicole. There is no way to file complaints in Madison County.
There is. You're not gonna like it. So at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, if you're real serious about this, what I would recommend you do is quit pissing with these people. Put together $150 or whatever, and go file a suit. File it pro se. Get a hold of me. I can maybe help you out with the people who can help you with that. Wink, wink.
I think everybody's completely clear that I'll file suit on something.
But yeah. I mean, we just need to. I'm just saying on this thing, if she wants to be heard, I mean, because that's the thing. At the end of the day, the election law states that the election board is I'm not being blasphemous here, but just politically speaking, the election board is God of each county. So it's not like, the election board reports to somebody. They don't. The election board if the election board screws you, your next option is to go to circuit court. And so if that's something that you want to do, get a filing fee together, call and find out. It's like $150, $160, something like that. All you need is to be heard in front of a judge. A judge is not going to shut you down the same way. You will at least have your day to say your piece, and a judge he might not rule in your favor. He might not rule the way you like, but you will have your moment to be heard, and something will happen, and they won't gavel you down and throw you out. And if you're interested in going that way, I would help you draw up the paperwork you need. Get a hold of me. I've got templates for it.
And here's the thing. If this is what Nicole wants, because she's clearly very passionate about it, I appreciate that she has fought for our country. I will give you $200 for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, we'll make sure that this gets done.
So if that's something she's passionate about, I am willing to put that up for her to be able to do that, because she deserves and has the right to be heard.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. And I'll help you draw up the paperwork. We'll get her done. So that's that. So what's next? We've been on here for a while, and to wind her down, what is, real briefly, I do think that we do need to discuss this. This also came up. So this has been going around.
Oh, yes. Yes.
This says, just a quick note to thank you for being willing to serve as a vice precinct committeeman. There are two basic responsibilities that you have as vice committee person. I think he got that backwards. VCP.
Oh, he did. It is. He needs to proofread his stuff too.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Vote in a caucus to replace an elected official if the committeeman can't attend, and vote on Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at the reorganization meeting for our Republican Party officers. Save the date now of this required by law meeting. He is so flippin' stupid. If you're a vice president, if you're a vice precinct committee person and you don't show up, we will come throw you in jail. It's not required by law. He means it's required by the bylaws, which mean nothing. I mean, it means, go if you want to be in the party and you want to be part of the club, but it's not required by law. He is so stupid. Okay, it goes on. One possible additional vote you might need to cast to vote to retain the current party officers. If there is a recall meeting, there is buzz that a small group, and it's not small, of PCs and VPCs, may petition for a recall meeting to remove the current officers. Attending this critical meeting and support is appreciated to keep your party strong and not allow a disgruntled few to take over our local party. Please call me if you have any questions on these responsibilities or about any issues or concerns that you may have. Russ Willis, Chairman Extraordinaire, 765-2623-4847.
Well, I just want to clarify with Russ Willis, I'm not disgruntled. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, right. You spelled disgusted wrong.
Let me just be real clear about that. I am disgusted with the voter suppression, the racism, the control. I'm just overall disgusted with this overall, it's just, wait till you see the budget come out. Wait till that's going to be a whole nother story that'll take another 10 flips of the hourglass when the budget's done, because I don't even want to blow that one just yet, but this is going to be really good. But, I just sent you in Messenger. This is an email correspondence between Larry Savage and Russ Willis. So Larry sends an email to Russ asking him about this meeting note. Russ completely denies he ever put one out.
What?
Yeah, look at what I sent you in Messenger. Russ completely has no idea what Larry asks him about this note, and Russ is like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never put something out like that." So Russ then tells everybody that every new vice PC got one of these. Well, there was about 8 new vice PCs, or there was about 8 PCs who would talk to me, and they all have new vice PCs, and none of them got the letter. Not one of them. So no, Russ, you're lying again, and I'm over it. Take your little Operation Chaos, take all of your minions who want to run for cover for you, who want to lie and do anything they can to save their own soul. You can take that cancer and you can take it somewhere else, and you guys can all go eat each other. That's how I feel about this.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So that's what was sent to Russ in email. Oh, and by the way, Russ now has something on his phone. If you are recording him, it somehow scrambles the recording so you can't record him.
Why? How are we saying that? I don't believe that. I'm gonna call him tomorrow. As soon as I saw you said that, I'm like, I'm gonna call and check this.
Do it.
Why do you think this?
So what he does is he answers the phone and he's like, "Hold on, let me get on another line to talk to you."
Yeah.
And he must have something that scrambles it. He did it today to somebody. I've got it.
And you hear the scrambled recording?
Yeah, it's garbled. It's garbled conversation. I hope somebody calls him, and I hope he does this. This is like so funny. Oh, and by the way, Russ, I just want you to know I'm no dummy. I would just put you on speakerphone and record you on a different device. That's why I always carry 2 devices, ding-a-ling.
What? I don't understand. He's God.
Thank you for being part of my world, Chris.
I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit. At least he like answers calls and responds back. Our people don't even do that.
Oh no, he won't with me. He will not with me. Absolutely not.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. And I think after the last time with him and me and Rebecca, I think I finally got to that point where he's not going to answer me anymore. My very favorite thing is
you better go get Niall's phone or something and call from Niall's phone.
I called him and I was like, "Hey, I got a question. Can we start talking?" And he's like, "Yeah. Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Christopher Bilbrey." And he says, "Oh, good. Yeah. What do you want?" I'm like, I love you, Russ. I kind of like, I like having the foil, but I can tell you today, he's not being whipped into shape like he's going to do the right thing. He's being beat down. So keep it up. You guys are doing a hell of a job.
Oh,
You
I'm
guys
in
are
this
doing a
for
hell
the
of a
long
job.
haul.
Yeah.
I'm in this for the long haul.
I
And
love it.
Russ, every time you had Ben Gale gavel me and pound that and had rich wine, all you did was give me stamina.
Yeah.
That is all you did is give me stamina.
Yeah.
And so it's like he threw kerosene on the fire when he did that.
Absolutely. Well, anything else as last words?
No, but I thank you for talking to me tonight. And I don't know how many times you had to flip over that
I flipped it
hourglass.
at least 2.5 times. So we are approaching, vastly approaching quite some time. I lied. It is an hourglass. I mean, it is an hourglass. I said it was a half hourglass because that was part of the joke. I was giving you 30 minutes. But yeah, Katherine, I appreciate it as always. We're here for the long haul, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And it makes me happy. I like to fight bad guys and try to get the good guys to come out. I'm glad that you guys are coming together and doing right. And I loved everybody we met today. I met some people for the first time today. And I love networking with people. I'm going to help somebody. There's one guy out there that's going to start up a YouTube channel, and he wanted to get a hold of me to talk about like what he needed and different things. And I said, yeah, I'd gladly help you with that. And so maybe we can even get him to like come under the Lighthouse brand, and like we can start having other shows under the same thing. So things like that. That's cool. I'm happy to help. And
just if you do that, Christopher, just make sure you have them sign a contract, because I know my salary is huge.
Yes.
So we can use all the help we can get with
Yes.
funding that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well,
yes.
we didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get out of here overnight.
No, that's true.
I've been at this for almost 4 years now. It's been unbelievable. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, do you really think you're making a difference or you're making any headway? Oh,
You
yeah.
are.
Yeah. Gail's not running again. Emery didn't run again. Russ is definitely on his way out. I don't care what anybody says. And it is what it is. And Kelly Hewer, you're going to be going right behind him, boot, scoot, and boogie. So you guys can all lock arms for as long as you want. But you keep doing the wrong thing. You keep trying to suppress the stakeholders, and all you're doing is throwing kerosene on people you're trying to silence. We will not be silenced. And there's more of we the people than there are of you core elected officials.
Yeah, right.
My power is disintegrating, and it's disintegrating very quickly.
Yeah. Well, very good. I appreciate it. You, as always, are welcome anytime. I'm gonna put you down below, but don't go anywhere. Stay there just for 1 second, and we will close out the show there. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Katherine Callahan. I, of course, am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. We've been joined by producer Kate as well, who's been making sure the shit runs right, and we need that because oftentimes it does not. Hey, folks, remember that we've had a busy week. I am not going to be on tomorrow, but there is I can't say that. I don't want to be here tomorrow. I'm going to more than likely go live one of the days this weekend because we've got a lot of things to cover. I was going over before this show, I was going over the show for Sunday already. And this is just assuming nothing happens tomorrow, nothing happens Saturday, nothing happens Sunday. And the show that I was going over for Monday includes going over the Board of Works from last Wednesday, going over the mayor's update from last Wednesday for Muncie, going over the Tui pool closing. The Tui pool is going to be closed over the Labor Day weekend, the last weekend of the summer, the last weekend because some people broke in the office and stole some cash. So they're going to close the entire pool. There's a whole bunch of chaos going on with that. I also have some information about emails and record requests. I also have some information about budget 2025. I also have some information about Mayor Dan Ridenour pushing for the lit. I also have some information about the Muncie City Council meeting from Monday the 9th. And I also have information about the county's budget process. So we've got a lot to get through, and I don't want Sunday to be a 3-hour show again. So we will more than likely be on sometime throughout the weekend. The best way to prepare for that is for you to do the YouTube stuff. Oh yeah, right there. She's got it. Hit that stuff down the side, do all of that stuff. Click the bell. The bell's what keeps you notified. It will notify you when we go live. If we go live, it will more than likely be Saturday, but there's a minuscule chance it could be tomorrow. It just depends. I'll talk to Kate. We'll find out. We'll figure out what's going on. We'll figure out one way or another. So we'll see what happens. And then there's always the small chance that it just might be done on Sunday too. So click that bell. That's important. You guys have a great weekend. Have a wonderful Friday, a fantastic Friday. Have a beautiful weekend. It's a Labor Day weekend. I know it's Labor Day, but we will be here Sunday. We will be here Monday. It's Labor Day, so we'll be laboring away. You guys have a fantastic night. Take care. God bless. Have a good one. Goodbye.
I swear, Christopher, every time you do a Madison County episode, you just need to start naming them Mayhem 1.0.
Yes. Madison County Mayhem 1. Madison County Mayhem 2.
You know, like the Fast and Furious movies.